how bad our players want to play.
The biggest names in sports, taking you behind the scenes and inside the top stories.
The great John Calipari.
The NBA and the WNBA has given us a pathway.
Pelicans guard J.J. Redick. Obviously, there is news regarding your now former coach, Alvin Gentry.
I found out, like everybody else, Woj bomb.
One of the most beloved players in pro football history, Brett Favre.
They drafted Jordan Love this year. A little bit surprised that they didn't go with an immediate need.
The head coach of the Chargers with us, he's Anthony Lynn.
Cordell Jones joining us here on the morning show.
Legendary Coach K is joining us.
Jason Wright, the new president of the Washington football team.
I'd look at the decisions that the Snyders have made over the last period of time for the Washington football team, and I'd say some of those barriers are falling.
This is the all-new ESPN Radio. Don't miss a moment.
Math says when two great things come together, they make something even greater. For instance, 1 + 1 = 2. Simple, right? Jeans plus shorts equals jorts. Meeting plus turf equals huddle. And when you add friends plus football, it equals ESPN Fantasy Football. It's as simple as that. ESPN Fantasy Football, with insights provided by IBM Watson. Sign up now at ESPN.com/fantasyfootball.
This is Greeny.
And here's what I will say about what has happened. Kevin Warren he's the commissioner of the Big Ten. He's being heavily criticized. These are good people, and they are by no means stupid people. They just didn't get the way this was communicated quite right. To make a decision of this magnitude, that can't be something that isn't communicated clearly to your coaches, your players, and your families.
Greeny, weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio, your smart speaker, and on the ESPN app.
Give us Major League Baseball. The tape measure shots, the web gems, and the splendor. Give us high heat, the off-speed, and the filthy stuff.
He got close.
Give us head-first dives, plays at the plate, and late-inning heroics.
Come join the party.
Give us the game's best. Braves, Phillies. Give us Sunday Night Baseball, Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Telecast presented by Taco Bell.
Janae and Golick Jr.
You don't accomplish anything by turning your back on your teammate. Instead, despite your differences, you treat them with respect and decency, because that is what we are wired to do. We care about the last player on the bench as much as we care about ourselves. That is the world we should all live in. It is the smallest thing that can have the biggest impact.
Janae and Golick Jr. Weekdays at 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, your smart speaker, or wherever you stream your audio.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. One day before they're slated to meet in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, the Raptors and Celtics are contemplating a potential boycott of that series opener. Toronto coach Nick Nurse says that's one of a handful of ideas on the table as the teams consider a response to the police shooting of Jacob Blake, a black man in Wisconsin. Celtics and Raptors expected to meet again tonight. Playing would be a better option for social justice, believes ESPN's Ryan Clark.
I don't think that they should just skip playing basketball or skip playing football, and that will be the next step to hurt the oppressor, or that will be the next step to lead us to change. What will lead us to change is actionable items. What will lead us to change is continuing to be a voice.
The Pacers have fired coach Nate McMillan following the sweep by the Heat, Indiana's fourth straight first-round exit under McMillan. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reporting Rockets coach Mike D'Antoni, in the last year of his contract, will be a Pacers target should he become available. Rockets guard Russell Westbrook upgraded to questionable for Game 5 against the Thunder tonight. He's missed the entire series so far with strained quads. That series is tied 2-2.
DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports, is giving away up to $100 million in prizes to all of their customers. Just download the DraftKings app and sign up using code MAX. Then enter a free football survivor pool. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
This is the broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
What's happening? How was Hard Knocks?
It was great, but I am at a loss for words of what I saw one player do and nobody's talking about it because it's one of those things where if you didn't catch it, like in a split second, you weren't going to talk about it because, people are on their cell phones, and this is why I use my cell phone when I'm watching television shows, Brent. I focus. So this guy by the name of Juju Hughes, he's a rookie safety, plays the game of football with a toothpick in his mouth.
Really?
Yeah. Like, when he's wearing pads and hitting people, he has a toothpick in his mouth. Now, once again, it's hard to notice because, they didn't talk about it at all. But if you watch during practice, he takes the mouth guard out, and then he pops out a toothpick. So how does that work?
What could be the logic of a toothpick with a mouth guard?
So I'm going to say this. There's a fighter by the name of Benson Henderson. I think he's a former UFC fighter, fights in Bellator now. He used to be a champion, all right? Great fighter. He used to fight with a toothpick in his mouth. And what he did, obviously with an MMA fighter, you have big mouth guards, right? So he used to put it in his cheek. So he would rest the toothpick in his cheek, and then between rounds, he would take it out and just have it in his mouth. I wonder if that's what this guy does. But I got to think, man, if you're playing a contact sport and you have a toothpick in your mouth, that's not a good combination.
I just don't understand. Is this like just a hobby? Is this on board? Or is this like a CBD toothpick?
No, this seems like
Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods chewing gum?
This seems like the standard run-of-the-mill toothpick. And once again, Juju Hughes, safety out of Boise State. He's a rookie this year. And they didn't touch on it at all. But if you watch him a couple of times, because they kind of keyed him, like the rookies this past episode, if you watch, he's got a toothpick in his mouth.
Wow. Well, last week we scheduled a couple of reporters from NFL Nation out of ESPN, and ironically, tomorrow we are going to go to L.A. and see what's happening with the Rams. I did not know we'd be talking toothpicks, but I thought Hard Knocks, Jalen Ramsey, Johnny Wolford. I thought we did get a little dive into what's going on out there. Van Jefferson looks like he's playing really well, by the way, former Florida Gator. It sounds like today he actually had a couple good reps against Jalen Ramsey, if you saw on Twitter.
Absolutely.
Jalen Ramsey, by the way, just donated $1 million to a school, I think it is, in Nashville. So he did that. But anyway, we're going to go to L.A. tomorrow, and we'll visit about the Rams. I just think the Rams are so interesting for the Jacksonville fans, not only because of Ramsey, but because of Wolford, and because, well, if they go 2-14, they have a very good pick to give Jacksonville in the 21 draft. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Today, we're actually going to visit at 5 o'clock with the Indianapolis Colts, who I believe are the favorite team in the AFC South. So we'll do a little around the National Football League as we get closer and closer to the season. Countdown is now at 18 days until kickoff between the Jaguars and the Colts. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos. Did not know we'd start with toothpicks, but I like when you have toothpicks for hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres, yeah. They can come in handy. Sometimes a toothbrush can do the same thing, right? But if you're at a steakhouse, you just guzzle down a 106 prime ounce, which they do at Black Otter back in Wisconsin. Shout out to Black Otter.
106?
106. Goes all the way up to 160, I believe. Prime rib. Yeah. Now, if you eat the whole thing, you get it for free. Odds are, though, not going to eat the whole thing.
You can't eat that.
No, heck
Nobody's
no,
ever done
Have you ever seen what that looks
Can
like?
we call them?
I'll bring up a picture right now.
Because nobody's ever done that.
No, people have done it.
What's the name of the steakhouse in Minnesota? It's like it's famous. They say it's like top 5. My goodness, I can't think of it. I'll have to look it up.
Okay.
But anyway, I went out to dinner there when we're on the Jags trip with Lageman and a couple others not to be named.
There you go, right there.
Oh, my goodness. Look at that.
Yeah. They're not messing around.
Wow. And what's the name of that place?
It's called the Black Otter.
The Black Otter.
Black Otter Supper Club.
We should give away something to the Black Otter because what's the chances anybody's going to use it?
Right now? Yeah, who knows,
So
man?
we fly up to Jacksonville, have that wonder. Fly up to there.
That's a good point.
Where is that in Wisconsin?
So it's kind of outside of Appleton.
So can we go there if we ever go? If we ever go to
Absolutely,
hometown,
man.
can we go?
So the highest they have right now, it's called the Extreme Cut Prime Rib. That's 160 ounces coming at you.
160? 160?
160, yes, sir. Prime rib.
How much is it? Does it say?
I can look it up.
If you have to ask, you can't afford it.
It is that, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be. What do you pay at like a nice steakhouse for a 22-ounce steak?
Yeah.
So $60?
Probably, yeah.
Well, I remember
So that's got to be That's got to be $300-$400.
Yeah, I remember my stepdad
Probably
got
more.
it one time when we went out to. I had the crab legs there one time, and he got the 160 ounce, but then he ate like probably maybe a third of it, and the rest was just for prime rib sandwiches. The next like 2 weeks, he made
Absolutely.
it. Yeah, so
You went to a steakhouse and you got crab legs?
So they're known for their crab legs as well.
Okay.
So they're king crab legs, but get this, they're already split for you.
That always, oh, really?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Isn't that nice?
That's worth it.
Isn't that convenient
probably.
right there? Yeah, it's worth it, baby. It's worth it.
I never understand that. Like, why do you go? We say this all the time. Like, we always joke. One time we went out and with my buddy and his wife, and we were like at Olive Garden.
Yeah.
And I think she ordered like fish, and I was like, or we both were like, we're at Olive Garden. How do you order fish from Olive Garden? Like,
Sure.
they have it on the menu, but how do you order that?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't order fish from Olive Garden.
So I'm on the website right now. The Extreme Cut, as it's referred to, it's got 4 bones, by the way. Extreme Cut, 4 bones. Market price.
Oh, one of those
so,
deals.
so you know what's up with that.
Come on, they should advertise it. I want to know how much that
Well, here
thing
it is, man. I mean, so the
Can
king.
we call in the break?
So the king cut is 72 ounces. You're looking at $50 for the king cut.
That's it?
Yeah. 72 ounces. $50. So I don't know. Do the math then.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was going to back to my Minnesota story real quick. So I had this steak, and I have to go look it up in the menu, but I want to say it was 24 ounces.
Okay.
And so Loggeman, big guy, right?
Yeah.
And we were with a couple other people. One won't be named.
Yeah, sure.
And they were like, "There's no way you're gonna." Like, they put that thing down. It's like, you can't eat that. And so
to Jeff, they said this.
No,
too.
to me.
Oh, to you. Okay.
And it became a challenge. But it was hard. Like, I ate it. Stuart was there.
Yeah.
And he is my witness.
Sure.
But it was not easy.
Was
Like,
it
I don't take break. Like, if I eat, and then I'm done.
You better
right?
believe it, man.
I'm not sitting there taking a break.
You don't have time to gallivant.
I took a little break at one time to
You thought
finish,
about
but I
it?
had to finish. Like, I had to do it.
Was it the steak and the sides or just the steak?
Oh, yeah, because we'd already had, like, appetite. Like, if you go out to
Okay.
dinner with Loggeman,
Yeah.
and by the way,
A la carte.
you go out to dinner with Loggeman, he orders all the appetizers, then he says, split the bill. That's what happens with Loggeman.
Yeah.
That was an expensive night. Let's just say that.
I got you. Let's get around to lobster bisques. Let's get around to everything. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, by the way, you're paying up for that.
I want to say Manny's. I got to look up Minnesota. Manny's, does that make sense? But it's a famous steakhouse. I got to look it up.
Cool.
But anyway, starting the show with steak stories.
Nothing
Very
wrong
good.
with that, man.
That is a big steak, 160 ounces. That's unbelievable.
Yes,
I've never
sir.
even heard of something like that. Anyway, the Clippers are back, right?
Clippers are back. Yeah. And I watched that game a lot longer than I should have last night for one reason. Because honestly, I thought a fight was going to break out. Did you get the chance to watch the game
I watched
at all?
some of it,
Okay.
yeah.
So they were trying to get in Luka's head.
They
like
were, yeah.
the story was evident, like what they were trying to do. You had Montez Harrell yelling at him. Somebody stepped on his shoe. And now whether it was intentional or not, up for debate. Yeah, Marcus Morris. Thank you.
Those are nice shoes.
Those
And
are
he's got a
great
bad
shoes.
ankle.
He's got a bad ankle, and the fact that he stepped on his shoe was a little okay. And then, of course, Patrick Beverly. Just being Patrick Beverly on the sidelines.
He's the guy that you hate if he's
I'll
not on
tell
your
you
team,
what,
but you
man.
love when he's
You know
on your
who?
team.
You know who hates him the most though? OKC fans, because he was the one that got into it with Westbrook that ended up tearing his ACL. I think it was.
Yeah.
He gave him that knee problem. So
Yeah.
they do not like Patrick
But I'll
Beverley.
be honest, because to me it seems like you're playing like at a basketball camp right now for like a weekend, right? Because there's no crowd there.
that's a good
Obviously, it's just team versus team. You see these teams in the hotels and everything, right? So like you encounter these teams nonstop. So if you're a kid, you went to summer camp, that's exactly what it is right now. But to me, man, like with Patrick Beverly, like he's been having a habit, and this is his MO, obviously, but he's been letting players know about it. And he hasn't really played that much, right? So I'm surprised like no one's done anything yet to Patrick Beverly, because that guy is like, you can hear him on the on the program over the announcers, like shouting the whole time.
You do wonder why there hasn't been more of that, actually, like maybe some fisticuffs or whatever going on. You haven't heard much, right?
Correct.
But inside the hotels or inside the bubble, you'd think certainly that could take place. No doubt about it. So talk a little NBA. Jags had the day off today, so it's really not a practice to go over. But quite frankly, how often have we been just going over blow by blow the practices to begin with? Couple of thoughts on the Jaguars, though. One is I couldn't let the Minshew Bud Light commercial go.
Can't let it go. As you shouldn't.
MJD did come back at us and say, and you showed me the commercial, actually, the Reebok ad, which was a good spot.
Yeah.
That was a good spot.
Yeah.
Him coming out of the sand, and thanks to Twitter for letting us know about that, too. But it's worth the conversation of just how marketable this guy is and with such a little resume, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the sampling is not big.
Yep.
And he quickly could become, I always talked about this like with Jalen Ramsey, and I compared him to Maurice Jones-Drew, but Minshew could quickly, in the matter of 2 months here, not even an entire season, become the most national player of all time for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a different age, different world, but he's a different cat. That's the point.
Correct.
We actually should, if we were working for Gardner Minshew, right? If we were part of his representation, what else would we?
The branding of Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, what else would we be looking for endorsements? Don't answer that now.
I'm not gonna.
But we'll have a few ideas.
I almost did, though.
And I'd like to get your ideas as well on that. We'll talk a little bit about the AFC South. Are the Indianapolis Colts the favorite to win? We will see. We also will go down to Daytona because it's a big weekend in NASCAR coming up as it's the last race before the playoffs begin. So Daytona moves off the date, and there's a ton of significance. They move off the summer race date of July 4th week, and this was their slot, pandemic or not. And now there's some drama going on in NASCAR. Jimmy Johnson has a chance to get in, and others do as well. So we'll go down to Daytona International Speedway and have a little bit more on that. But we'll start with football. And I have a question regarding receivers for the Jags. Maybe their most fun, maybe their best position group on the roster. Where does it rank? But do they have room for everybody? And do you dangle somebody for trade, or does everybody just make the roster anyway? And it's an interesting thought because there are usually surprise cuts. I wonder if we'll have less surprise cuts this year because of the pandemic. You want everybody that you want to keep them on your roster as long as you can. Of course, there will be a balance between who has practice squad eligibility and all the rest. But the Jags wide receiver room on a roster that's not very deep, that's not ultra talented, the Jags receiver room is pretty talented and is pretty deep. Let's begin there. We'll take a break. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Who do you think makes the team? You know, we're only a week away, a week from Saturday away from the roster being cut down to 53. So the Jags have some decisions to make. Scrimmage in the stadium on Saturday, obviously no fans or anything, but that could go a long way for some of these guys. But they all have resumes. These practices probably don't mean a whole lot for a lot of the receivers because they've either been drafted or they've got resumes with the Jags and have been around for a few years. But could we see some surprises at the wide receiver position for the Jacksonville Jaguars when it comes to the roster? And how do you manage that if you're Keenan McCardell and Jay Gruden, a talented group? Can you get everybody on the field? Are there enough footballs to go around? I mean, it's not like they have Odell Beckham Jr., Julio Jones, and A.J. Green on the team.
Correct.
But still, you want to keep everybody happy, and they all have different skill sets. We'll talk receivers. Why not? That's fun when we come back on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly sunny, hot and humid today with highs in the 90s. Feel like temperatures well above 100. Hurricane Laura makes landfall tonight near the Texas-Louisiana border, but far away from our area, so no local impacts. It'll be mostly clear tonight in the mid-70s. Partly sunny with an isolated shower or storm tomorrow. Thursday's high 93. Friday, better chance for a few afternoon showers and storms, and in the low 90s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing. You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be. Because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon scores from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Most of our homes have really taken a beating over the past few months. With the kids, the pets, and everyone else coming in and out, don't worry. Zero Res is ready to help. Zero Res is the only way to clean your carpet and tile. The right way. More than just another carpet cleaner. It's in the technology. Zero Res uses its patented powered water that cleans beautifully without using any soaps, detergents, or harmful chemicals. That means your home will stay cleaner longer because you don't have any of that crunchy residue left behind. See for yourself. Google Zero Res and read over 3,000 five-star reviews. Those Zero Res guys are cleaning freaks. Call now and get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. Remember to mention WOKV and get an additional room clean for free. That's right, the 4th room is on me. Call Zero Res at 904-287-5727. That's 904-287-5727. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Nurses take extraordinary care of us during what is often the most difficult and trying times in one's life. We often take for granted the service and sacrifice of these first responders. I'm Mark Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. If you are a nurse and currently face investigation or complaint under the Florida Nurse Practice Act, you are not alone. Call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000 for a consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
When we see a chance to make a difference, we take it. Local doctors are conducting a vaccine study for COVID-19 right here in our area, and they need your help. Participants will receive all study-related care and either a placebo or an investigational vaccine for COVID-19 at no cost. They may also receive compensation for their time and travel. Volunteering for this study can help make a difference as we try to find vaccines to prevent COVID-19. Please consider participating in this COVID-19 study by applying at covidvaccinestudy.com.
I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233. You ready for some good news? No, make that great news. You know that new Toyota you've been wanting? It's as good as yours thanks to the huge savings going on now at Arlington Toyota. Every new Toyota Arlington's got is on sale. In fact, you can get 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. That's 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. Want to drive away in a new Toyota with no payments? Right now at Arlington, you can. Get no payments for 90 days on your new Toyota purchase. Every single day at Arlington, you're going to have over 750 new and quality pre-owned to choose from on the lot, ready for you to drive home today. And with every new vehicle purchase from Arlington, you get a nationwide lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. But wait, there's more. It's time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington. Wait no more. Now's the time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/August savings for full details.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
This is Tom Skerritt for the Borgen Project.
Each year, nearly 2 million children die from preventable diseases. Each day, 30,000 people die from hunger. 500 each hour are children. The Borgen Project is turning this around. We need your help. To learn more, go to borgenproject.org. That's BORGEN project.org.
There's a new, modern, patient-centered orthopedic practice in Jacksonville.
We believe that the patient pays money for a doctor and should be seen by a doctor.
Ortho Edge.
They're getting the most technologically available medicine there is.
Ortho Edge.
You're going to get a much better experience with your physician. We all see our patients.
Get the answers right away and more focused care on patients.
Find out more about us at orthoedge.com.
Ortho Edge. We're in the DePaul building attached to St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside.
Celebrate your love with end-of-summer savings now at Beard's Diamonds.
Right now at Beard's, take advantage of 5 years zero-interest financing.
Yes, 5 years, zero-interest financing with zero down.
How about a $6,000 Tacori or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month.
Or a pair of diamond studs for $1,500, you pay just $25 a month. But it's only for a limited time and only at Beard's Diamonds.
Located at the St. John's Town Center.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Jake Mitchell. In MLB, this season's first no-hitter was thrown by White Sox hurler Lucas Giolito, who kept the Pirates guessing all game long. Here he is talking about his mindset going into that final inning.
Going in the ninth, I was just trying to stick with like my normal routine when we're on offense. Take my sips of water, looking at the outs, looking what I need to do to prepare for the next inning. Obviously, it did feel a little bit different. But I kept reminding myself, like, one pitch at a time. That's what I've been doing all game long. That's what leads to my success. Take it one pitch at a time.
And finally, drafting Gardner Minshew for your fantasy team in the first round could net you some free beer from Bud Light. There's even a grand prize of 2 cases per month for 6 months if you win your league championship with him as your starting QB. If you're working from home and still want to listen to ESPN, tell your smart speakers, play ESPN 690.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
Never heard of what happened in Iowa yesterday, and I don't even know how to pronounce the name of it. Derecho.
Austin Lane.
Iowa State Cyclones. Should call them the Derechos. You can shorten it up, call them the Chos. Why not, man? I'm into it.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
No, you can tell, even wearing helmets, guys are itching to go because it's about that time of year. But, man, our coaching staff did a really good job. Coach Marone, give a lot of credit to him. Made sure we're practicing the right way. And I think this is really, hopefully, in the future how we do it because, I think guys are, really understanding things before we're just in there flying around. And I think it's helped us a lot.
That is Gardner Minshew. Pick him in your fantasy football draft and win free beer. That's such a brilliant campaign by Bud Light. You got us talking about it, Bud Light.
Nicely done.
Calais Campbell chimed in on it. He thought it was awesome.
As he should.
People love Minshew, man. I love listening to what the teammates say. They're all in on Minshew. You can tell.
Yeah.
And they like that stuff, too. Most guys, listen, if you ask a teammate, they're mostly all in on their quarterback. But sometimes you can tell it's a little more genuine than others. Mm-hmm. And it feels that way with Gardner Minshew. Hey, I want to remind everybody about the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18. Did a lot of work on it today. By the way, a shout out to Olivia Tasley, who works with us in the sports department, sometimes up here, most of the time in TV. She's helping out with our Dream 18 and bringing some cool things and fun things. We're going to have a bunch of different local establishments out there and kind of amidst COVID-19 try to pump up some of the local places and some old standbys that have been with us for a long, long time, like Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, Front Porch Kettle Corn will be there, Smoothie King, Metro Diner, Moe's, They will be there as well. But we've got some new friends on the Action Sports Jax Stream 18, which means you will eat well, you will drink well, and you will, well, maybe be in good shape because we've got Big Fish Yoga coming out, Brewhound Dog Park and Bar, Pet Want, Star Nutrition. I mean, we're making this fun for everybody. The Mini Bar will be there. Drive Fitness will be there as well. So we've got some new friends along the way in the Action Sports Jax Stream 18. We already told you got a little beach theme going for the tea gifts. It's really reasonable to get in to the Dream 18, and there's very limited spots. I counted it up today. We just did a little roll call, and there's only about 7 foursomes left. So jump in individually, jump in as a foursome. Go to actionsportsjaxdream18.com. Here's the deal. It's $100. Play Southampton, September 14th, all for a good cause. We're going to have some fun with it, as we always do. $100 each player for a foursome, $125 if you don't have a foursome and it's just an individual. You could also help us out with tea signs for $100 too to promote your business, but also helps us out on the charity side because, listen, the dollars are a little tougher to get. So if you're willing and able, we'd love you to be able to participate. Go to actionsportsjaxdream18.com and our great charities of St. Michael's Soldiers celebrating their 10th year, helping out local military families. And we support local golf in the area as well with the North Florida Junior Golf Foundation. Hopefully you can be a part of it. Thanks once again to our friends at the golf club at Southampton. By the way, one of the Olivia's working on silent auction item.
Yeah.
You're going to like this. Did she already tell you this?
No.
It's she must know somebody over at AEW. She might have more connections than you do.
Probably.
And
she knows people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so she got a turnbuckle. Is that right?
Yeah. No, I'm just
like, that's the thing George the Animal Steel used to eat.
Yeah.
Well, and it's AEW.
Okay.
From the actual ring on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday night, they just had an event, right?
Correct.
Signed by a bunch of wrestlers.
Sure.
Framed that bad boy up.
Hey, Olivia.
We're going to silent auction that thing away.
There's 4 turnbuckles in a ring. You couldn't get your boy one? You couldn't get your partner in crime one? All right, good to know.
So that will be just part of the silent auction, and our friends at Palm Beach Autographs will have some more items as well. So come on out, Action Sports Jax Dream 18. Shameless plug. We're inside a couple of, 3 weeks to go. So hopefully you can be a part of it. We have a lot of fun doing it, and thanks for all that have supported it and continue to support it. Are you okay? Do you need my toolbox? Did you get your headphones?
Well, yeah, so I had to replace my my ear.
They look good.
Okay, well, this is the old one. I just dropped the new one. I don't know where it went.
Oh, that's why they look good.
But also, I feel like I'm underwater right now because I had to put like a new screen over like the electronic part of it.
Yeah.
And it sounds like absolute garbage.
It's mumbled?
It's mumbled. Yeah, I literally feel like I'm underwater right now.
Yeah.
So, might be time for some new headphones. We'll look into that.
It's kind of like listening to my kids talk.
Kind of like Charlie Brown in class?
Jaguars receivers.
Yeah.
You love them. Before the draft, you said, hey, they might have a top 10 receiving core.
I did.
I said, get out of here.
Well, no, keep in mind, wide receiving core, not including the tight end.
No, I'm talking about wide receivers.
Okay.
Get out of here. I don't have a top 10 receiving core.
Yeah.
Well, they had Laviska Shenault. Colin Johnson has looked good. And as you watch them on the field, and DJ Chark continues to look the part, Keelan Cole is having an outstanding camp, whatever that means. But, well, I mean, you got to be careful. But it helped him make the team when he had an outstanding camp a few years back as an undrafted free agent. And he looks motivated, and he should be motivated. They all should be. D.D. Westbrook banged up with the shoulder right now. But even guys like Terry Godwin have delivered. They don't have a lot of, like, who's that guy? Oh, my gosh, look at him. But Godwin is one that's, like, impresses. Mm-hmm. So they go about 7 deep, in my opinion. Do you keep 5? Do you keep 6? Could we see a big casualty in terms of a roster spot, which is about 10 days away from being announced? What happens at the wide receiver position? And I'm going to get right to it. I'll cut to the chase. Here's what got me thinking about it, is D.D. Westbrook. D.D. Westbrook's going to go, he's kind of on the shelf a little bit with that bone bruise.
Yeah.
If you look at the practices and you watch, like, okay, I'm waiting for a big year from D.D. I'm waiting for something to happen, and you're seeing Keelan Cole, and you see all this connection between Chark and Minshew. We're all excited about Laviska Shenault, and then you see Colin Johnson making great catches. Let's be honest, before D.D. Westbrook got hurt, we weren't talking a lot about D.D. Westbrook out of practices. Now, that doesn't mean he's playing bad. Just maybe he's not making these highlight plays, and we're raving about him. But we've been waiting for D.D. Westbrook to become the guy that a lot of people think he could be as a fourth-round wide receiver. Could he be a casualty in terms of a roster spot? Could he just flat out get cut? Do they have enough without D.D. Westbrook? Will they run out of patience with Westbrook? Am I being overly dramatic with D.D. Westbrook?
Well, let me ask you this question real quick. And let's keep in mind here, like, let's not over-exaggerate things. Let's not get crazy here. But I want a realistic answer from you, Mr. Martineau. Jaguars starting wide receivers, week 1 against the Indianapolis Colts. Who are your 3 starting wide receivers right now as you see it?
Chark, Conley, and Chenault.
Yeah. And to be fair, that's where I have it too right now. We didn't mention D.D. Westbrook. Okay? And it's weird, right? Because at least from my perspective, last year going into the season, Westbrook was the guy. Right? Like I was telling everybody, Westbrook's going to be this fantasy darling. Like he's going to take the next step forward.
Yeah.
We've seen glimpses. We've seen flashes. It was more the mental part for him, whether it's the penalties and the fumbles. He's going to come around and he's going to be great. Well, you know, he, for whatever reason, there's some underachieving last year. Now you can go ahead and blame the play calling if you want to, but for lack of a better word, he didn't do that well last year, okay? I really wonder if we're to the point right now where it's like, how many more chances do you get? Because you have Laviska Shenault, obviously, and he's probably the most intriguing prospect of this entire list right now that you want to see on that field. You don't want him to come in for maybe 5 or 6 reps a game. No, you want him on the field at all times. With Chris Conley, you kind of know what you're getting with him as well. Now, it's a new offensive coordinator. It's a new scheme. Keep in mind, do you keep him in on the red zone targets? I would hope so. The guy jumps out of the gym, if you will. So I like Chris Conley right now. It just begs the question, where does D.D. Westbrook fit? Now, keep in mind, he's on a contract year. And you have to like that, right? Because it's all or nothing right now for D.D. Westbrook. Either you produce this year, or guess what, man? You don't get paid. So I like that motivating factor, but you have to wonder right now how far this injury is going to put him back. If he's going to be out, you know, even maybe week 1, how far he's going to be put back, just because if Shenault comes out the right way and shines, it might be D.D. who.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think I like D.D. Westbrook, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not advocating for D.D. Westbrook to be cut.
Neither am I.
This is what happens this time of year, by the way. We do this. We're like, okay, Jags don't have a ton of big names anyway.
Yeah.
But D.D. Westbrook, if I told you he wasn't on the roster on like next Saturday, you'd be like, whoa, that'd be a little surprising. And I don't think it's headed there. But if you look at some possible camp casualties that have some name recognition around here on a deep position, with investments of Shenault and Colin Johnson making plays, and you know he's going to be a factor in the red zone, with the affordability of Conley and the leadership of Conley, with the star power of DJ Chark, quite frankly, and with the emergence this camp of Keelan Cole. See, the bottom line is, for me, a lot of people, you asked this question a month ago and say, well, Keelan Cole probably going to get cut. People will say that. And for now, let's not talk about Godwin or where he fits in. I'm talking about 6 receivers that everybody would stack as the top 6 guys.
Yep.
And you would say Keelan Cole might be on the outside looking in if it's a numbers game, if they only keep 5, or if somebody else emerges, he could be outside looking in. Well, my point being, D.D. Westbrook or Keelan Cole? Well, Keelan Cole has been getting it done. I mean, he's been getting it done. And D.D. Westbrook, do you get a little, whether it's injury stuff or you're like, okay, we've been waiting, man. We've been waiting for you. But you got to remember, even though we've maybe been waiting for him to emerge, almost like Miles Jack, like we've been, when is he going to hit the next step? D.D. Westbrook's still been pretty productive. I mean, he's still been pretty good for them.
Keep in mind, he's a 4th-round pick as well. You know, it's not like he's a 1st, 2nd-round pick. I mean, from where he was taken, not too bad. But at the same time, to me, that 4th-round pick, it's right where if you were to let him go, not saying you should, but I'm saying if you were, I think Dave Caldwell can wash his hands of that, right? It's like, well, look what you invested for D.D. Westbrook. He never panned out. Hey, he was a 4th-round guy. Okay, so
yeah, and like I said, they've gotten production from D.D.
Yeah.
I mean, over the years. I just don't – I think people watch that Oklahoma offense. They watch what D.D. slipped in the draft because of some of the things that had happened way early in his Oklahoma career. And so he slipped a little bit, I think. So people thought, whoa, that's a good get in the 4th round. And some people, I remember, some people were like over the moon about D.D. Westbrook. I was a little, I am very skeptical about the Big 12. Offense and defense.
Sure.
It's like, show me, man.
Yeah.
Show me. Because it's open gym in the Big 12. I mean, it just is.
The open gym of college football, I like that.
So I wasn't that over the moon, but I really like Dede Westbrook because the guy for a small-ish receiver. He plays physical. He's tough. And I do think he has this other level in gear where he just hasn't got. And some of that is on
of it, though, man.
Bortles maybe, and some of the way they've run the offense through Fournette. So he could really thrive with Gruden and could especially get the ball out quick. He's that guy. I mean, get it in his hands and do something, run over a tackle. You know, everybody talks about Shenault and his physical capabilities, and I'm not saying Dede's built like Shenault.
No, but he plays a lot bigger
tough,
than he is.
Man.
Correct.
He plays tough. So, again, I just want to make it clear. I'm not advocating for Westbrook to get cut. I just wonder, have they seen enough? Is Keelan Cole passing him by because of what he's doing in camp? Have they filled in some of these spots and remade this receiving core with Shenault and more they can do with him and maybe with Colin Johnson? Where does that put the snaps for a guy like Dede Westbrook? Somebody brought it up yesterday to me, and I don't know if he'd heard it somewhere or what, but it's like, well, could he trade? I mean, would you potentially trade a guy like Westbrook? Like San Francisco's really hurting for receivers, right? In fact, that's where Kevin White
man.
is working out.
Yeah.
But I mean, could you take a guy like that and turn it into something because they need it? Now, here's the big red stop this conversation caution flag. I don't know how many. I've been here 12 years, so this is either my 12th or 13th camp. However that adds up, I don't know. I can't remember a time where all the receivers that you thought were going to be on the roster got to the season healthy,
correct,
and ready to go. It just doesn't seem to happen. You need those numbers, you know. And if it does happen, well, it doesn't. It's not a 16-game thing. I mean, it's just the nature of the position. Guys are going to tweak something here or there, and you're seeing it right now with Dede. I mean, Dede's got a bone bruise on the shoulder where they said week to week type of thing, not really day to day type of thing. So they could start with him inactive or whatever it might be. And keep in mind, Dede played through a lot of stuff last year, too. Again, I can't applaud the toughness of this guy enough. I mean, he is a tough dude, no doubt. So I like him on the team. I think Keenan McCardell likes him because he loves that part of him. Gotcha. He loves toughness in a receiver.
Yeah.
But you do wonder, are we ever going to see it? I'm starting to wonder that a little bit with Miles Jack, and I've been big on Miles Jack. Hey, oh, this is the year, man. Look out. This is the year. Well, this is the third straight year I'm saying that about Miles Jack, and I haven't seen it. And nobody's on my bandwagon anymore.
Yeah.
So how many times can you say it about Dede and it doesn't happen?
See, to me, this is a lot like the Cam Robinson year, where you're going to find out real quick if Cam Robinson's going to be the guy going forward or not. Right now, you know, coaches are raving about him, obviously, in training camp, and he says that he's 100% as opposed to last year. So Cam Robinson, there's a lot riding on this season, obviously, for him. To me, same thing with Dede Westbrook, because let's be honest right now. You have a guy by the name of DJ Chark who's going to command a lot of attention on defenses this year, right? I think DJ Chark surprised some teams last year a little bit. I don't think anybody really know who DJ Chark was last year. Well, now he's established, and now defensive rooms are going to plan for that. So you need that go-to two-wide receiver, and Dede Westbrook could be that guy. And once again, in the contract year, it's going to be make it or break it. So, yeah, I'm not advocating for cutting Dede Westbrook at all, man, because you're still paying, you're paying that rookie deal. He's in a contract year. This is really his last shot to see what he has. I definitely keep him on the team. And I think as I break down this wide receiver roster right now, you see 6 guys that should make the team, right? And maybe an argument for 7. Do they take 6? Do they take 7? How much does Keelan Cole?
7.
Okay, well, how much does Keelan Cole special teams come into play a little bit? Because keep in mind, they have said that Chris Thompson can play special teams as well as in terms of a returner, things like that. So,
Dede can do a little bit of that too.
Dede can do a little bit of that as well. So I see them taking 6.
Well, I think they're going to take 6 as well. But it's an interesting numbers game, and where the numbers get a little iffy is really at that fullback tight end spot. If they decide to take a fullback, that eliminates something. I don't think they're going to eliminate running back. I was just talking to Mike DeRocco the other day about this out on the practice field. You got Fournette, you have Chris Thompson, you have a Zigbo who they like, and they have Rock Armstead who they like. So that's 4 backs. I mean, unless something emerges, somebody gets hurt, you're not changing there. So if you had fullback, where are you taking from? Are you taking from the tight end room? What's their depth in the tight end room? You got Eifert. You have O'Shaughnessy, and again, who's working back still. You can't. He's not. I mean, he's full go, but he's still working back from an ACL.
You got Tyler Davis. He drafted. You got Ben Alfson, who's a rookie.
Who?
And then Matt Flanagan. Shots fired at Ben Elfson. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, I don't mean to be.
That's Brent that's at Brent A.S. Jags.
But so could they keep 3 and at fullback?
Yeah, I mean, if you like your fullback.
And then they'll stockpile these guys on the practice squad.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Yeah, so that's where they might steal a number. They're not going to probably have to steal from the receiving corps is what I'm getting at because of maybe the thin nature of their tight end room.
And it begs the question of edge rusher as well, right? Because you always had to account for Lorente McCray because, I mean, he was a special teams ace. Now, he also played edge rusher, but let's be honest, how many snaps at edge rusher did he get last year?
No,
not that many, right?
Yeah,
so he's a special teams guy. So do you maybe take one from the edge rushing group this year? It's a possibility.
Well, it's interesting, too, because they have a little bit of diversity there, depending on what you want to do, right? Yeah. That strong side spot, a number of guys can play that. We said Cassius Marsh could maybe play that from the linebacker position, depending on what you're doing. I mean, heck, Josh Allen could do it.
Sure.
Chase on, you have some options in that spot potentially, but it's usually offense steals from offense from a numbers game. I think there's a battle about that on the whiteboard. Yeah. I mean, they're going to steal from the tight end room. It really comes down to the fullback. Do they keep a fullback or not? Other than that, I think you have pretty normal numbers. Oh, the other one actually is quarterbacks. I mean, how many do you keep? Where do you put somebody? Can you stick Luton potentially on the practice squad? I would think so. Is Dobbs going to be around and Glennon going to be around? Again, COVID-19, if your quarterback gets sick or has to go on the list, you have to have options. So that could impact the roster too. Anyway, wide receivers. It's a fun room. It's a good room. Are you as high on the room now that you've seen them out there in camp as compared to the rest of the league? You think a lot of teams would take this room? Trade them? I mean, you're not going to trade them with Tampa.
Yeah.
San Francisco sure as heck would take this room, wouldn't they?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, San Francisco, man.
That's a team that's in the Super Bowl last year.
That's a good point. No, it's also a team that likes to run the ball, keep in mind,
fine.
right? But, I mean, yeah, San Francisco would definitely take this team. How do I like him right now?
Patriots would take this room.
Listen, I love what I see on paper, right? But I still have to see it in person. I have to see it during a game because I loved what I saw on paper last year from the offensive line, and you know what? So I think they have the talent for sure. Now, whether the offensive scheme is going to fit them, well, I think it will. Like I've talked about, I think Jay Gruden's going to be great for this offense, going to put that B12 shot in this offense. So I don't want to say what could go wrong because when I say that, then something obviously goes wrong and you're like the last rated offense in the entire NFL. But right now where I'm sitting, yeah, I like this wide receiver group a lot.
The big question to me with wide receivers, can they use them the correct way? Got a lot of guys with different skill sets. Can you use them the right way and get the ball in their hands where they're supposed to?
Can Chris Conley get one red zone rep this year? Well, is that so much to ask?
Just think, seriously, Chris Conley and Colin Johnson in the red zone? Pretty nice. And you're going to have DJ Chark out there.
And Tyler Eifert, if he stays healthy, that big body?
It's pretty good.
Brent, these goosebumps aren't going to go away anytime soon, man.
I mean, Minshew.
You kidding me?
Just throw the ball up in the air.
You kidding me? Hey, we're not even playing football. We're playing 500 now. Go get it. 500. Throw it up there, Minshew. Let him go get it.
When we come back, I got a story about signing off on emails. I don't know where I get this stuff. And also, Dave Caldwell's draft. Nobody wanted him to use the 12 picks, but did he do a good job? Starting to shape up like he might have. Next on ESPN 690.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Well, and you know where I stand on this, and I've been very adamant about this. I'm not going to be surprised whether it's in the NFL or college where teams are going to try to, maybe kind of sway the rules a little bit just to get that competitive edge. There's nothing more competitive than a football season, whether it's college or the NFL.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them, ESPN690.com.
After a long day, having my dogs greet me at the door with their silly smiles and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vets Animal Hospital to keep my pets healthy. Forever Vets was voted 2019's Best Vet in Jacksonville Magazine's Readers Poll, and it's easy to see why. The affordable wellness plans are tailored to meet all of your pet's changing needs as they grow. Open 7 days a week, Forever Vets friendly staff is available to treat you and your pet with care. They combine extended hours with online booking to allow you to give your pet quality care while accommodating your schedule. Go online to forevervets.com to find which of their 9 locations is nearest you. And don't forget their newest location in Bartram Market. Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets happy and healthy forever.
Hi, I'm Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park. I don't know about you, but I just want to get in the car and drive somewhere. Windows down, radio playing, exploring some 2-lane back roads. It's like a mini vacation. So I say, get in your new Chevy and go. Huh? You don't have a new Chevy? Well, we can fix that. Like a new Equinox. Right now, the factory says take 15% off, but we can do up to 5 better. That's right, up to 20% off, or choose a discount and 0% for up to 84 months. Only at Gordon Chevy in Orange Park or GordonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
The economic difficulties caused by the current pandemic is affecting the survival of local small businesses. Many have had to close or greatly reduce operations. How well prepared are you to gear back up once conditions begin to improve? Will there be enough working capital to do so? Take advantage of this time to participate in a SCORE webinar or meet virtually with a counselor to get some ideas on developing a business recovery strategy. Register for a webinar or schedule a confidential mentoring session at jacksonville.score.org.
To our Fox 30 viewers, we have important news. If you watch our programming using an antenna, on August 25th, you'll need to rescan your TV to continue watching Fox 30. If you have a cable provider or DirecTV, you can continue to enjoy our programming and do not need to take any action. If you have questions, log on to tvanswers.org for additional information or call the Federal Communications Commission at 1-888-CALL-FCC. Thank you for watching Fox 30.
If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and school just isn't for you, earn while you learn by enrolling in the Clara White Mission Workforce Training, designed for 16 to 24-year-olds and no experience necessary. National certifications include culinary arts, OSHA, HAZWOPER, forklifting, environmental training, and more. These programs are customized for low income and disadvantaged. Make your way to the Clara White Mission Training Center at 613 West Ashley Street. Call 904-354-4162 or visit clarawhitemission.org. Don't miss the Gun Show this weekend at the Ice and Sportsplex, featuring guns, knives, ammo, and more with concealed weapons classes twice each day. Doors open at 9 a.m. at the Ice and Sportsplex on Phillips Highway just off Emerson, Saturday and Sunday. Buy, sell, and trade. See you at the Gun Show.
First Coast No More Homeless Pets Veterinary Hospital provides premium veterinary care for less. 7 days a week, a full range of services with compassionate care. Pet owners shouldn't have to choose between paying bills or a healthy pet. Call 425-0005, 425-0005, or fcnmhp.org.
Hey, it's Coos from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Now, I know there's a ton of ways you can listen to the show, but did you know one of the ways is through a smart speaker? Yes, the Google Home, the Amazon Alexa. It's pretty easy to do. Just tell either of them to play ESPN 690. Try it out weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m., and you can listen to Action Sports Jax.
The weird thing is that I always envisioned that I'd throw a no-hitter in the big leagues. If you were to ask me about it in 18, I probably would have been like, what the hell are you talking about? But that was a weird year. You know, I kind of had to get my ass kicked, kind of had to learn from failure and go and make the changes I needed to make to be able to realize my true potential.
Did you just say, can he say that?
Well, can we play that? I can't say that word. Good for you, though. I mean, you know what? You throw a no-hitter, you say whatever you want, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
Lucas Giolito. I got to be honest with you, man. I'm passionate baseball. Didn't know much about this guy.
I still don't know who this guy is.
And he's like the race. I mean, he's a good player, good pitcher. I
had to do the Sports Center update this morning, and I woke up and saw that, and I was like, oh, how am I going to say that last name?
Well, hey, I'm going to take you behind the scenes a little bit, and I don't claim to know everything. And this is one. Like, I seriously, I mean, who the heck pays attention to the Chicago White Sox? Sorry, Adam. I know that we have one White Sox fan out there at least. But seriously, I mean, you know, they're actually they have a bunch of young players that are good, right? And some of the hitters and stuff. And you've heard some of their names. But I don't know who the heck these guys are from the pitching staff of the White Sox. Nobody watches the White Sox play. And so this guy's going through I'm not even really watching it, but I'm seeing it. And I'm seeing it on social media, and I'm getting alerts from ESPN that he's 7-inning no-hitter, 8-inning no-hitter, and then he throws a no-hitter. Mm-hmm. So, like, okay, we'll throw it in the end of the show last night, or right at the end. Well, all the way up until we're about to run the thing, I'm trying to find on social media, like, I'm trying to find the call So the announcer
And they don't
says
say
his
it.
name. And they did
didn't
not
say
say his name. They did not say, like, and that's a no-hitter for Lucas Giolito. How do you not make that as part of your call?
They didn't even know who he was.
I went through that exact problem this morning. I went, how are you not going to say his name in the call?
There was this one video floating around on it. It was the last out, and it was 20 seconds, and it stopped like probably right before the guy said his name.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it looks like Giolito. I'm guessing it's Giolito.
I found.
I don't know if I'm still saying it right.
I found an interview that he did with like Barstool Sports from like 2 years ago, and they said his name, and I was like, cool, got it, we're good.
It's probably like shame on. I'm just admitting to you, I don't know much about the guy, but he's supposed to be really good.
Sure.
And then all the articles come out about him, like, hey, it's really don't sleep on this guy,
Yeah.
But cool, first no-hitter. Not surprised. Listen, no-hitters happen more and more, it seems like. It's got to be the swing and the miss and the long ball, and there's more swings and misses. This was apparently the best no-hitter in White Sox history. I think they said it's the 19th in White Sox history.
19th, yep.
And it's the best one because he had 13 Ks, and I think he had more swings and misses in a no-hitter, the most since like a 1988 no-hitter, I think is what I read.
Dang, okay.
But see, that shouldn't surprise you. There are more swings and misses in Major League Baseball than ever before.
Going for that long ball, Brent.
Yeah, so which okay. I'm just saying that shouldn't surprise us. I also have been asked to state an apology. I can't read exactly what this tweet says from somebody, but it's what the bleep. The Chiefs had a Big 12 quarterback and running back and skill players all over the place dominating to the NFL. I'm going to start picketing and boycotting unless you immediately rescind and apologize. My thoughts on the Big 12.
That Big 12.
You have to understand the context of what I put it in, person who texted me. And that is when a Big 12, up until Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
You could not find me many other Big 12 quarterbacks. There have been some that have done well and okay, and we used to have this list, and now I don't have it on the top of my head. And I'm not saying every Big 12 player is bad. I like Justin Blackmon. I thought he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when they come out of the Big 12, I have a giant question mark about whether it translates to the NFL, considering there are 8 yards of real estate around every pass play before you touch a player in the Big 12. That's just fact.
I mean, you're talking like Robert Griffin. You got Sam Bradford, Ryan Tannehill.
It's been
Who
better
was
and
the
better.
cat from Kansas State? Josh Freeman. Remember him?
Oh, yeah, he was good.
I'm trying to help you out.
I know.
Okay, I thought you were like making.
Well, I mean, Bradford had some success, but then it was always hurt. A little different with him. Listen, I'm not telling you it's across the board. I'm just saying that I have some hesitation,
as you should,
on Big 12 guys.
I'm not against you right now, man.
I'm just talking to the text out loud.
I got
and I don't want to text back.
I got you,
but it was kind of funny.
Just send back K.
Yeah,
lowercase K.
0 period.
I'm put lowercase backward K. Be cool if you could put backward K. They need that on the phone. Not baseball fans over there at Apple.
Yeah, I guess not.
We need backward K.
I mean, we got every other emoji in the book. Why not have a backwards K?
Can you do that? Can you flip a letter around on
I'm sure there's some weird.
There's probably a weird way to do it, right?
Yeah.
You can put them upside down. I don't know because Chad Johnson does it. Ultra Cinco does it all the time.
I got something for you, real quick. Does it? See, this isn't a world you live in. Maybe Kuz will be a little better here.
Gonna go to the bathroom on this one. Go ahead.
Well, but like when you're in the business world, right, or anything, you get you get emails, and you don't check them.
I've heard of them.
But I was thinking this the other day. I get so many different kind of look goodbyes. Like after the meal, thanks. Brent.
Sure.
Cheers is a popular one. Respectfully,
Yeah.
Is there can you learn anything from a person on how they sign off their email? Like, would you put the cheers guys in all one category? Gals too?
Oh man, that's a good call.
I was thinking of that the other day. I was I'm trying to identify. I usually just say thanks.
All right.
That's it. It usually ends with thanks.
See, I'm gonna be. Is it you spell it out or is it THX?
Oh no, THX.
Yeah,
no.
Get that abbreviation crap out of here.
It might be a THX occasionly on the phone, but
okay,
but
on the
not
phone's
on email.
different. But okay, we're not doing email. Okay, man, I think I do have a great day. I believe.
I'm going to try to.
I'm not sure how I feel about thanks. Kuz, you like thanks?
Thanks is fine.
I'm going down my emails right now. One says sincerely.
I got to see what I'm putting.
One says thanks. Should have brought more data on this.
I have one that mine says, if there's any way I can help, let me know. And then I just put my name in, like.
Wow, going above and beyond the extra mile.
Some don't even sign
it.
off. Some it's just a name and a signature.
Let's see what we got here. I'm trying to find it.
Best?
All the best?
No, just best.
Nope. See, that's lazy. That's laziness. That's a shortcut. All the best, all allowed. You can't just do best.
We'll talk a little NASCAR
Check
in a
your
little
ego,
bit.
Brent.
We'll talk Dave Caldwell's draft coming up next. Is it a good one so far? You like it? Better than you thought he would do? Next on ESPN 690.
I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233. You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon scores from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right? Making sure you have no holes in your defense. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. And you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data and 2G. No contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Changing your oil. We've got what you need. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil and an STP oil filter for just $26.99. Plus a $5 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? Signing up is easy. You can do it right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Steve Lennox. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals between the Raptors and Celtics scheduled to get underway on Thursday. The possibility of boycotting the game remains on the table for both teams in the wake of the police shooting of Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin on Sunday. Raptors coach Nick Nurse today on his team said they want to help, they want justice, they want this particular problem to be handled in a much better way. Mark Spears, senior writer for The Undefeated, earlier with Greeny here on ESPN Radio.
With all due respect to the players outside of here, I haven't really heard much from a lot of them. So, to me, I think the same way people are using the players to see basketball, I think the players got to continue to use us as media to get their message out. Doc's messages, you know, Greeny's global, man.
Mm-hmm. And Mark's set to join Shanae and Golick Jr. at 4:30 Eastern. Magic and Bucks are about to tip off for Game 5 of their first-round series. Bucks lost Game 1, but now have a chance to finish off the series in 5 games. The last 3 wins by Milwaukee, all by double figures over Orlando.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Whatever it was, I mean, the bubble got the best of me. I was just in a dark place. I really wasn't here. I checked out. So these past couple games, it was just difficult. But, you know, shout out to people that stood behind me, that was in my corner. The positivity, my teammates, my family, friends, everybody. Thank everybody that reached out to me. I was just in a bad place. I found my way. I'm back. I look forward to the rest of this run.
That's Paul George. Well, the Clippers looked good last night. He's a good player. I mean, he got so much heat in the last couple of weeks. Paul George did, and talked about anxiety and even some depression inside the bubble. It's interesting. We don't give, you know, golfers and some other sports go through times where, like, the mental side is just not there. And it's like, okay, it's like considered an acceptable thing in golf. It's like sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. It's such a grind mentally. We don't allow that for other sports. We really don't. I mean, and they could be dealing with a bunch of different issues too. Sometimes in baseball, you know, you get those guys with the yips or can't throw a strike. Actually, someone on Periscope just said Giolito had the worst ERA in 2018 and has really turned things around. One thing about Periscope, by the way, when they comment, which I appreciate you commenting, it's really, if I'm not on it, it disappears so quick. So I can't even see who it was that said it, but I kind of read the statement quick, so appreciate you commenting. But then it disappears, and I can't go back and find it on Periscope. It's a strange thing. So definitely, if you wanted your thoughts heard, jump on the Twitter side at Brent A.S. Jacks, and I can certainly see those. Sometimes I don't want to see them, but sometimes I do.
It's kind of interesting. Woj just tweeted. I mean, we just heard that sports update about the Bucks, about the game about to start. Woj just tweeted that the Bucks have yet to come on the court. Neither have the Magic. Apparently, there's some discussion about boycotting the game. I guess officials just went into the Milwaukee locker room to see what's going on.
Let's we're going to get into that in a little bit, okay? Don't want to do it right now. I just teased some Dave Caldwell draft stuff, and we've got Chip Wild coming on from Daytona International Speedway in just a few minutes. But we're going to get into it. It's a topic today about the boycott potential. And so let's see where this story goes, and we'll follow it, because there's been a lot of talk about Toronto and the Celtics, that series, but here's Milwaukee and the Magic. What that means, what that could mean. And my question about it is, will it be impactful? Is that a fair question? If you boycott in this sense, is that a good use of platform? Because I'm just being honest with you. I asked that question to myself. I was like, okay, I understand there's a lot of focus right now. Basketball's not the primary focus. You appreciate everything we talked about yesterday, guys using their platform.
Yeah.
But is boycotting a basketball game, does that change anything? Does that spark change? I want to get into it.
Okay.
You have a quick thought on it?
Well, I mean, not really a quick thought.
That's why.
Yeah, so let's wait to get into that a little bit. But did you hear that stuff from Doc Rivers, too, the audio? It's crazy stuff.
There's been a lot. Listen, there's been a lot of eloquent things said. There's been a lot of powerful things said. Whether you agree with stuff or not, there's a lot of talking going on right now. But if we don't have games, do we hear Doc Rivers? That's one of my thoughts, right?
But getting back to Paul George, though, and I mean, it really sounded like after the interview, like he sounded like he was coming from a really dark place and he was depressed.
Yeah.
Now, once again, we don't know what that exactly means, whether he's upset because he feels like he can't do anything in that bubble in terms of, the racial injustice and obviously what's happening right now in Kenosha. So I'm not sure if that has something to do with it. I'm not sure if it's more of just his psyche and what he sees on Twitter. I mean, there's a lot of things right now happening with Paul George, but keep in mind what these guys are going through right now. Where usually if you have a bad game, you lose a game or you win a game, what do you do after the game? You go home to your families. You go home to the environment that you have constructed to, to ease the tension, let's just say, right? It's something that you set up. You're creatures of habit. These guys got to go back to their hotel room.
Yeah.
These guys have to go see their opponents, in the lobby. So it's different in terms of whether it's a big win or a big loss. Like, you go back to your room by yourself, and I'm sure you go on Twitter and you go online and see what people are saying about you. That can be a very negative and toxic environment for anybody.
Yeah, I just hit like 3 different things in like 120 seconds, but that was what I was getting at. I mean, we don't give these guys, it's like not okay, right? Yeah. It's not okay to deal with that stuff. But like golf, it is sometimes. In basketball, it's not. In football, it's not. Go and play, deal with it. That's what you get. And, some sports you don't get that. Some sports you do. But I think Paul George brought that to light a little bit. I'll give a quick little story about that. And that is, I know somebody who's in a baseball organization, not at the major league level, but they're hanging around with like the camps, the taxi squad, the extended team, if you will. And Major League Baseball, where they clamp, with all the testing that was going on and some of the early results from the Marlins and others, they really clamped down. So these guys are basically, they're living in hotel rooms. They're not even playing games that matter, by the way. They're basically sequestered to hotel rooms. They go out and practice with their taxi squad, if you will, and get the team ready. And you might have a rehab start or something or rehab for some of the players that are injured. And, well, before you could go back to your hotel and you could hang out with the other coaching staff and grab a pizza, watch a movie, watch some sports, whatever's on, play cards, whatever it is. Well, when Major League Baseball really clamped down, the story that I got was couldn't do it, didn't allow it. So basically, you had to go back to your hotel and basically stay in your hotel because they did not want, and that was even at the taxi squad level. It wasn't even at the big league level.
Yeah.
So you talk about, you're right. When you do that for a few months, couple months, that's a lonely place, man. I mean, you can only play so much on your phone, read so many books, watch so many movies.
Especially after a bad game.
And especially if you're performing. These folks weren't performing night after night, but if you're actually, you got to live with that game. Everybody's got to live with the game they played or the play they didn't make or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But if you're in a bad place and you're not rolling along like Paul George, you're really living with it.
Well, and let's be honest. I mean, you're sitting in your hotel room. I'm sure, and listen, I'm not sure what the bubble's like. I'm sure there's a lot of things that take your mind off it, whatever. But one of your outlets has to be to go to your cell phone. One of your outlets has to be to go to social media because that's how these athletes are these days. And obviously, you see what people said about Paul George prior to the game last night. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a great environment to be a part of, especially after you had such a bad game. But to me, this is where obviously the culture comes in. This is where Doc Rivers and the team comes in of having Paul George's back. And sometimes maybe the most talented teams that can be successful in this bubble. We haven't talked about the Lakers and the Clippers and the Bucks and everything, but maybe it's the most tight-knit team that wins the championship this year.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. We're all over the place right now. We'll get back to the NBA in just a moment. But I want to go real quick conversation. Dave Caldwell, obviously maligned at times and a lot here in Jacksonville for not a very good record and especially first-round draft picks not working out. Got brought back. People didn't like that, him and Doug Marrone. And one of the big things you heard was the problem with bringing Dave Caldwell back in many people's eyes was now they had 12 picks to make. Great, you got 12 picks. Great, you're resetting things.
Yeah.
But I don't trust that guy to make the picks. I don't trust this regime to make the picks. Now, I think it's an interesting technicality here because even if the GM has a lot to say, but keep in mind there's a scouting community that has done work for like 18 months that even if you had hired, say Trent Baalke comes in and he's the new GM. Well, the scouting community that you were going to go through that draft with is the same one Caldwell went through, essentially. Now, the guy making the ultimate decision would be different, and I'm not saying that wouldn't make a difference or wouldn't be different. I'm not saying Baalke would have picked, he's part of the staff, so maybe he did sign off on everything too and agreed. But bring ex-GM in. I'm not saying they would have drafted everybody that Dave Caldwell did. Like, first pick, I'm not sure everybody would have taken C.J. Henderson. Someone else might have taken an offensive lineman based on their evaluation of Cam Robinson or maybe one of the receivers to instead of Chenault in the second round. So you would have had some differences, no doubt about it. But my point being the scouting staff would remain the same. If you're going to make changes on scouting staffs, it usually happens after the draft because they put so much work into it. So just a clarification. But as for, this goes on Caldwell's watch, his draft. People weren't comfortable with him picking 12. The Jaguars did pick 12. It's the most picks they've ever had in franchise history. But right now, again, I haven't even seen him on the field in a game. Yeah. I understand that. This is way too early in results. C.J. Henderson. He's had some, I mean, obviously he had the incident the other day. He got sick a little bit, but he was playing pretty well before that.
True. And let's be honest. I mean, right off the get-go with C.J. Henderson, that's the big one, right? Because you're essentially, and it's not fair to you, but guess what? It is the way that it is. You're replacing Jalen Ramsey, okay? They traded Jalen Ramsey away, and now you're replacing him. So depending how this pick does, will say a lot about this draft. Let's just
Caleb on Chase on at 20. I'm just telling you, Doug Marrone raved about somebody. He doesn't usually do that.
Sure.
So good sign there.
And I like him.
Chenault is the buzz of the class, right? Devon Hamilton, we'll find out because he's going to have to play. Everybody likes all their players. Rebrovich the other day was very nice and has good things to say about Hamilton. Mm-hmm. I think the question about Hamilton is, was that a good spot to draft him? Well, where it's working out for the Jags is they got a pretty good, talented guy in the third round. Whether it was high or not, it's a necessity right now. They need depth on that offensive line, and it's working out that they did pick Devon Hamilton where they picked Devon Hamilton.
Yep.
Ben Barch is going to be a project, although it's been kind of fun to watch him out there in practices.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks the part, doesn't he?
Well, and he's physical, too.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
I mean, he looks the part. No doubt this guy's going to be a part of their offensive line at some point.
Keep in mind, too, he's playing position at the guard where he hasn't really played before, so he's adjusting to that as well.
Okay, things get a little trickier after that.
Mm-hmm.
Shaquille Quarterman, Josiah Scott, Daniel Thomas. Daniel Thomas made some nice plays, just got a hamstring the other day, so he missed practice. We'll see what happens coming out of there. Those guys, I'm not going to go overboard with those guys. I really don't. I mean, we'll see. But I don't know how impactful they'll be right now. Special teams will be a part of those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, we love Shaq Quarterman. I just don't know. I can't sit here and tell you, wow, what a great pick that was.
And you know what I hope? I hope they put him at strong side linebacker, so one of my bold predictions comes true.
That's right, you did that.
Yeah.
He really has been. It's been a little quiet on the Quarterman front on camp, if we're being honest. Yeah. It's not like it's like, whoa. But he's not that kind of player either. He's more consistent. He's not a flashy player.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have like that athleticism that jumps out like, wow, he's fast, or, he's just going to knock you in the next week. I mean, he's just a good football player.
Sure.
Colin Johnson.
We know how we feel about that.
He's making the draft look pretty good for them right now, at least in some of the catches he made.
We'll see.
Can that translate to the season is certainly a fair question to ask. I'll tell you what, Jake Luton looks to be a guy that could be a part of this thing. Is he a franchise quarterback? No. But neither was the guy that was picked last year in the 6th round supposed to be the franchise quarterback, and he might be.
Yeah.
Little side note. Tyler Davis looks like he's going to make this team and be a part of it. I mean, he almost has to be, right?
He has to be a part of it, yeah.
And then there's Chris Claybrooks. And I'm telling you what, those guys on the back end of that secondary, the young players, they are showing they have some interesting depth from a youth standpoint. Claybrooks, Barku, who they signed as an undrafted free agent. Again, I'm not going to sit here and rave about them. I'm just telling you I've noticed them. So if you notice guys on the field, that means they're making plays usually a little bit, and that's a good sign. We'll see what they do. And Claybrooks probably be a return man early on. We'll see if he can get that job done under the bright lights. But overall, that Duval dozen, as we've claimed them to be, or they've claimed themselves to be, it's a good start. It's a good start. And overall, most of these guys have been healthy, too, to boot, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking me where do I stand right now on this draft class, how great did Dave Caldwell do? I mean, I think he addressed positions of need. Obviously, it comes out to me, Devon Hamilton. I mean, obviously, they needed him more than we thought they would. Now we'll see what he brings on the field. C.J. Henderson, you needed that as well. We'll see with Caleb on Chase on in terms of need. I mean, you had Yannick Ngakoue. We don't know what's going to happen with him yet, and I've said this and I kind of echo Doug a little bit here, maybe not to the much as gushiness as he's brought to the table, but I like Caleb on Chase on a lot. I love what I'm seeing from him so far. So basically, what I need to see from this draft class to say, you know what, Dave Caldwell, I tip my hat to you, sir. I'm not mad at you for not re-signing me because the team needs defensive ends. You know what? It's all good. So with that being said, I need C.J. Henderson to produce. I need Caleb on Chase on to show glimpses of greatness, let's just say. I need Laviska Shenault to be that go-to guy. I don't want to say he's going to be the go-to guy like a two receiver, but I need him to kind of be like that jack-of-all-trades guy, kind of like that a la Deebo Samuel. If there's a jet sweep, Laviska Shenault. If there's a screen in the slot, Laviska Shenault. If there's a guy going up to get the ball in space, comes down with it, Laviska Shenault. So I need that. Everything else, what makes it a great draft to me, Brent, is then when you hit a home run with a later round draft pick. And to me right now, as I analyze this draft, that could be Colin Johnson, okay? Whether it's a red zone threat, whether it's a guy that can be maybe dependable two receiver in the future, Colin Johnson taking the 5th round, pick 165, he could be that sleeper. He could be that dark horse. He could be that home run threat a la Telvin Smith back in the day. And I think if you have that combination of your top guys playing well and that home run pick late in the draft, you have a fantastic draft. So we'll see.
Hey, breaking news in right now, the Milwaukee Bucks have chosen to boycott playing Game 5 against the Orlando Magic. The Milwaukee Bucks lead 3-1 in that series. Following in the wake of the Jacob Blake shooting in Wisconsin, as a protest to that, they are boycotting Game 5 against the Orlando Magic. That's just coming in the last minute, reportedly. CBS Sports now saying it, ESPN saying it. We'll continue to follow that story. We'll have our thoughts on that in just a moment or two. But right now, we go down to Daytona International Speedway. Brent Martineau, former Jags player Austin Lane on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. And we are joined by Daytona International Speedway President Chip Weil. Big weekend coming up on Saturday. The Coke Zero Sugar 400, a calendar change for this traditional event that's usually right around the 4th of July in the summer. And now it's got itself situated right in the middle of it all. The last one of the regular season, the playoffs on the horizon. You guys have to be pretty fired up there, Chip, for this Saturday night.
Man, it's going to be a crazy weekend here. You think about the names of the drivers who are on the bubble, who either have to race their way in or win the race in order to make the playoff. It's pretty remarkable. 7-time NASCAR champion Jimmie Johnson sits outside the playoff right now. Has to have a good showing on Saturday night. He's racing his teammate William Byron for that last spot to try to make the playoff in order to race for the championship in Phoenix. So, man, it's going to be a crazy weekend. And then you got drivers like Ricky Stenhouse Jr., won the Coke Zero Sugar 400 a couple years ago, has proven that he knows how to get around Daytona International Speedway. He knows this is his last chance to have to get into the playoff. How's he going to race this weekend? There's just so much excitement building around this weekend's races at the Speedway.
Well, Chip, and you mentioned it, with Jimmie Johnson, obviously the great Jimmie Johnson, multiple-time champion, William Byron, they're teammates, and I'm a very casual NASCAR fan, but what is that going to look like, right? Because when you're a teammate, you're counting on to help each other, obviously, regardless of the sport, but now you're racing each other too for that spot. What is that going to look like?
Well, it's a great question. I mean, I think at the end of the day, they both are out for themselves. They got to race for themselves and their team. The bigger question is, what's Mr. Hendrick telling them over the week? What are those conversations are like at the shop? Hey, William, you got plenty of time left. We need Jimmy to get into the playoff. Or, hey, buddy, this is your time to shine. You can show Jimmie Johnson why you are in that 24 car. I just think, everything matters more when people come to Daytona. These race car drivers, they want to win here, regardless if it's the Daytona 500 or the Coke Zero Sugar 400. But with everything on the line this weekend, knowing that one driver has the opportunity to make the playoff or not, it's setting the stage for a walk-off home run moment. You remember back when Dale Earnhardt died in 2001, his son came down here that summer with something to prove, and the stage was set for him to be a hero, and he delivered. Mm-hmm. He won the Coke Zero Sugar 400 in 2001. That's the kind of stage that's been set, and we'll see what happens under the lights on Saturday night at the Daytona International Speedway.
Daytona International Speedway President Chip Weil with us on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Coke Zero Sugar 400 on Saturday night. It took a little while probably for some folks to get used to this calendar move. Do you absolutely love it with all the drama that's about to now take place?
I am. I do love it. I'm a traditionalist. I love that people came down here for the 4th of July holiday, got to enjoy our great beaches here in Daytona, and then come out and watch some world-class racing. But we got to continue to evolve and change. This year has proven that over and over and over again. So for us to be able to welcome all these drivers and teams back, I think it does elevate the event. And we certainly have 62 years of tradition in that 4th of July holiday weekend. But, we got to continue to look at things differently. And I think this is a great opportunity for us to showcase our facility in a different way. For our community, it's great because this is traditionally not a weekend where we would be very busy. And now we're welcoming fans back to our community to stay in our hotels and eat in our restaurants and come to the Speedway.
NASCAR has been on the forefront of fans back in sports. How's it been going for NASCAR in general as you've watched it, and how did it go a couple weeks ago when you had the road course race down there?
I'm really proud of our company. We've been the first sport back with live content. We did that in May at Darlington Raceway, and we've been able to sustain since coming back racing. We haven't had to take a break. And then we've been the first sport to welcome fans back to the stands. We welcomed 1,000 fans back at Homestead Miami Speedway. We welcomed fans back at Talladega Superspeedway. We had fans here for 4th of July WeatherTech IMSA sports car event. And then we had fans a couple of weeks ago for our road course race. And I'll tell you, every time we open the gates, we learn some things. We make small adjustments to our protocols, but really proud of the work that's been done by our team. Feel like we're welcoming fans back in the right manner. We're welcoming them back in a safe environment. Obviously, there are new protocols, because of the pandemic, and we have to abide by those in order to welcome fans back. So we do require fans to wear masks. We do a temperature check and a screening before you go in. We offer every fan their own hand sanitizer as they walk through the gates, so they'll have their own hand sanitizer throughout their visit. We have cashless payment. We have mobile ticketing. We have socially distant areas in the venue and in the seating area, so that folks can keep their distance from other people while enjoying our facility and these world-class races. So, again, everybody understands the world is different, and I think they appreciate that we're trying really hard to welcome fans back. And we've been able to do it successfully, and we'll continue to do that.
Yeah, NASCAR's made the adaptation. Chip Weil from Daytona International Speedway with us on Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Big race Saturday night, Coke Zero Sugar 400. There will be fans allowed for that, but on Friday night for the Wawa 250 Xfinity Series, no fans allowed for the Friday night race. So just want to make that clarification. We have been down there a bunch, obviously, covered on the TV side with CBS 47 and Fox 30, and obviously we've done our shows down there around the Daytona 500 the last couple of years here on ESPN 690. And one of the new, well, it's probably not so new for you now, Chip, but the new things for racing fans is that facility over the last few years. And I think about your facility not only on the forefront of the way arenas and stadiums and tracks will be for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years going forward, but also around this pandemic when you do have to have social distancing, limited number of fans. It's almost a perfect setting for it because of these kind of neighborhoods that you guys have built and the concourses. It really probably works well, at least from my point of view. Is that the case for you guys?
Yeah, no question. I think certainly it makes it a lot easier for us because we do have wide concourse areas, lots of seating areas, 101,000 brand new seats for fans to spread out and be comfortable and watch the races. So it certainly has helped. We have been able to figure out how to do it at other facilities that don't have the luxury of what we have here. But certainly it makes our job a little bit easier when people enter the gates at Daytona International Speedway. It's just a different time, as you guys know. I mean, you just broke, the NBA playoffs are playing without fans. I watched the Tampa Bay Lightning play last night, and it's just weird to see sports without fans. I mean, that's part of why people love sports, is because there are fans there and they're so passionate about what they do. And for us to be able to have them here, it really does change the dynamic of the event. And so we're certainly fortunate that we've been able to do it and been able to do it safely, and we'll look forward to continuing to build on what we learn each and every week and continue to welcome fans back to the track.
DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com, the place to go for tickets for Saturday night's race. $49 for adults, just $10 for kids 12 and under. So go attend a sporting event this weekend down there at Daytona International Speedway. I'll leave you with this. As you look past, you probably can't even look past this event, but humor me if you will. As you get ready for next year's Daytona 500, because that will be next on the docket, are you planning almost in both ways, that the pandemic will still be ongoing and obviously the hope that it will be cleared and you can pack that place as normal? What's the approach right now for folks in charge of things like this, like yourself?
Yeah, I mean, tickets are on sale for the Daytona 500, and we're actively selling. We are confident that we're doing the right things, and with the number of tickets that we've already sold, we certainly can accommodate all of those folks if we are unfortunately stuck with in the same environment. But again, things change so rapidly; it's so hard to tell now what it's going to look like, next week or next month, especially in February. So we're continuing to sell. If people are interested in coming down for the Daytona 500, Daytona500.com. Greatest way to make sure you don't miss the 63rd running of the Great American Race.
Chip Wild, Daytona International Speedway president. Appreciate the time, man. Good luck. Have a great weekend down there in Daytona.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
All right, that's Chip Wild, track president at Daytona International Speedway. They should have a good one on Saturday. By the way, 13 players already locked into the postseason in NASCAR. And keep your eye on Jimmy Johnson, William Byron, DiBenedetto as well, all in the mix. But also, this is the fascinating part. If you're a casual NASCAR fan, the fascinating part of this race being it is Daytona International Speedway doesn't fit one racer. You never know what you're going to get down there. You want evidence of that? Justin Haley won last year's Coke Zero Sugar 400. Came out of nowhere to win it. So you could get that kind of winner even in this last race. Should be a lot of fun this Saturday night at Daytona International Speedway. All right, the big news we just broke in the last few minutes. We're going to talk about it when we come back. A boycott by the Milwaukee Bucks. What does it mean? Did they lose the game? Is the series closer? Do they just postpone? And is this the right way to go about it for NBA players? Does this get everybody's attention? Spark change? Keep the conversation going even more? Is it the right tactic by the Milwaukee Bucks and maybe some other NBA teams? It's breaking news. It's a big story in sports. It's next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly sunny, hot and humid today with highs in the 90s. Feel like temperatures well above 100. Hurricane Laura makes landfall tonight near the Texas-Louisiana border, but far away from our area, so no local impacts. It'll be mostly clear tonight in the mid-70s. Partly sunny with an isolated shower or storm tomorrow. Thursday's high 93. Friday, better chance for a few afternoon showers and storms, and in the low 90s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0-interest financing.
Men, are the effects of hypertension, diabetes, or prostate cancer preventing you from having a satisfying love life? In just one visit, the doctors at Prime Men's Medical Center can help you overcome ED or PE to regain your confidence and have you last longer in the bedroom. Name brand pills don't work for many men and can have serious side effects. The highly skilled physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center provide custom blended medications that are safe, effective, and work immediately, regardless of your medical history or age. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your consultation is free. So, if you have problems in the bedroom, call now for a private consultation. One call, one visit, one simple solution to regain your love life. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
This is Tom Skerritt for the Borgen Project. Each year, nearly 2 million children die from preventable diseases. Each day, 30,000 people die from hunger. 500 each hour are children. The Borgen Project is turning this around. We need your help. To learn more, go to borgenproject.org. That's BORGEN project.org.
Boating with friends and family is enjoyable and the ultimate in safe social distancing. Yamaha Marine Center in Orange Park on Wells Road has one of the best lineups of premium boat brands, including Pursuit and Regulator, and the best-selling boats in Florida, Key West Boats. Visit YamahaMarineJacks.com to find your boat today. Yamaha Marine Center provides award-winning customer service before and after the sale. Let them help you find the right boat for your adventures. Yamaha Marine Center on Wells Road in Orange Park. Visit YamahaMarineJacks.com.
After a car accident, you can feel like you've lost control. I'm Mark Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After the crash, call the police and document the scene by taking photos of all the vehicles involved. If you were injured, get medical attention as soon as possible. If you've been involved in a car accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
Ready for a positive 2020 surprise? Here's one from Diamonds Direct. The return of our best offer ever. 5 years, zero interest financing. Yes! Starting Monday the 31st, backed by popular demand. Pick any item. Get the amazing value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Pay nothing down and spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. And you can even finance the sales tax. Fine jewelry has never been more affordable. 5 years, zero interest on anything and everything starting September 1st. At Diamonds Direct. On approved credit. Get details, directions, and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
This following message is brought to you by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and its radio station.
This is Max Mayfield, former director of the National Hurricane Center. This hurricane season, you need to update your family preparedness plan so it includes COVID-19 preparations. So when a storm threatens, be ready to prepare your home and have your family hurricane kit ready. Include supplies for your pets and enough COVID-19 sanitizers, disinfectant wipes, and masks. Know your zone, know your home. For more information, go to floridastorms.org.
To our Fox 30 viewers, we have important news. If you watch our programming using an antenna, on August 25th, you'll need to rescan your TV to continue watching Fox 30. If you have a cable provider or DirecTV, you can continue to enjoy our programming and do not need to take any action. If you have questions, log on to tvanswers.org for additional information or call the Federal Communications Commission at 1-888-CALL-FCC. Thank you for watching Fox 30.
Don't miss the Gun Show this weekend at the Ice and Sportsplex, featuring guns, knives, ammo, and more with concealed weapons classes twice each day. Doors open at 9 a.m. at the Ice and Sportsplex on Phillips Highway just off Emerson, Saturday and Sunday. Buy, sell, and trade. See you at the Gun Show.
July is National Carpet Cleaning Month. Get all the carpets in your home cleaned by Zero Res for 25% off the regular price. With Zero Res, there are zero soaps, zero detergents, and zero residue. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Jake Mitchell. In MLB, this season's first no-hitter was thrown by White Sox hurler Lucas Giolito, who kept the Pirates guessing all game long. Here he is talking about his mindset going into that final inning.
Going in the ninth, I was just trying to stick with like my normal routine when we're on offense. Take my sips of water, looking at the outs, looking what I need to do to prepare for the next inning. Obviously, it did feel a little bit different. But I kept reminding myself, like, one pitch at a time. That's what I've been doing all game long. That's what leads to my success. Take it one pitch at a time.
And finally, drafting Gardner Minshew for your fantasy team in the first round could net you some free beer from Bud Light. There's even a grand prize of 2 cases per month for 6 months if you win your league championship with him as your starting QB. If you're working from home and still want to listen to ESPN, tell your smart speakers, play ESPN 690.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
But we could really take this show off the rails if we wanted to go all like half politics, half sports.
Austin Lane.
I mean, have you been on Twitter lately? Do you want extra $100,000? Do you want a scholarship? Let's go politics when we get back here.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Would it be nice if in a perfect world we all say we're not playing and the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, that's going to trickle down. If he steps up to the plate and puts pressure on, district attorney's office and state's attorneys and governors and politicians there to make real change and get some justice. Like, I know it's not that simple, but at the end of the day, if we're going to sit here and talk about making change, then, at some point we're going to have to put our on the line and actually, put something up to lose rather than just money or visibility.
That's Fred VanVleet of the Toronto Raptors. Very good player, by the way, underrated player in the NBA. Powerful words. And he basically said he was sick of all the talk, the media hype about it. He feels like it's just a pacifier for what's going on. It's just words. There needs to be more action. There needs to be something else done. And that was VanVleet yesterday. Doc Rivers with some powerful words last night after the Clippers game. And now today, the most powerful thing maybe done in sports yet. And that is just coming down in the last 10 minutes we told you about earlier. The Milwaukee Bucks are boycotting Game 5 of the NBA playoffs in their series against the Orlando Magic. They lead the series 3-1. There are a lot of questions about what does that mean for the series. Did they forfeit the game? Did they just reschedule? Well, I think what's going to follow suit are probably a couple more NBA teams and games in the day going to also be boycotted. We'll see, but I would assume that will be the next step. And we'll get you some of those details as we learn them as this is all just coming down. There was a threat of this by the Toronto Raptors and Boston Celtics, and now we see the Milwaukee Bucks doing it, obviously, with the shooting in Milwaukee or just outside of Milwaukee in Kenosha, Wisconsin. That has been the story and the headline in the news cycle the last few days. But it's not just a news cycle item. It's a sports cycle story as well, given the Black Lives Matter movement, the fight against social injustice, against police brutality. And the NBA has been on center stage with their words, with the illustrations on their court, on their jerseys, on their shirts, and also with their actions. And today it's the action speaking very loudly from the Milwaukee Bucks. Your take on it. Are you surprised by it? Is it a good move? And I do have questions about the ramifications. Is this the right way to go about it for the NBA? But I want your take first at the news. The Milwaukee Bucks will boycott Game 5 this afternoon.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man. And, obviously Milwaukee's my team, but take the fandom out of it real quick. I'm proud of Milwaukee Bucks for what they're doing right now, okay? Because there's a lot that is still transpiring in Kenosha and in Wisconsin. I'm not sure if you saw what happened last night, but we'll call him a teenager because he's 17 years old by the name of Kyle Rittenhouse, drove across the Illinois border. He's from Illinois, went into Kenosha with an assault rifle. And whether it was self-defense or not, it still remains to be seen. I'll tell you what, they released a warrant for his arrest, and he was arrested, from what I know right now, for first-degree murder. Shot and killed 2 people and wounded another one, okay? 17-year-old kid with an assault rifle. And there's video of him walking outside of the protest with cops just kind of waving at him and letting him through, okay? Now, whether the cops knew what happened or not, whatever, okay? But that's obviously another progression right now of what's taking place in Wisconsin. It's if you listen to, Doc Rivers put it so eloquently last night. And there's a lot of players right now that are coming to the forefront, using their platforms and speaking out against us. And I love to see it. At the same time, though, whether it was the Jaguars protesting downtown, whether it was protests that have taken place after that downtown, there's a sense that, yes, there is kind of a change, right? But unfortunately, the media can only cover that so much because we all play a part in this. I play a part in this. Professional athletes play a part of this. The media plays a part of this because what you have to do right now is continue the conversation. And unfortunately, protesting is not enough. I wish it was. I wish I could take my Black Lives Matter sign and I'm upset sign in the streets every single day and I could see change. But that's not how society works right now. And obviously the big talking point right now is, all right, you got to vote in November, vote in November, vote in November. Guess what, man? We're still in August right now. We got a couple more months to go and things are still going down. So it's easy to say right now, let's vote in November, yada, yada, yada. What do we do for the next couple months or so? All right, what are we going to do then? So to me, the Milwaukee Bucks right now made the decision, and obviously it was some motivation from their peers as well probably, where they decided, you know what? Things are more important than professional basketball right now. Things are more important than going out there and trying to shoot a ball in a hoop. There's bigger things at play right now. And it doesn't come from the president, Brent. We're talking about at a local level right now, right? And obviously the city of Milwaukee, I know firsthand, they love their Milwaukee Bucks, man. They're the Giannis Antetokounmpo and company, they've given that city hope. It's something to rally behind. And everyone's all in right now out of the Milwaukee Bucks in that city of Milwaukee. But at the same time, things have transpired the past couple days. Violent things, racial things that shouldn't have happened. And if you're the Milwaukee Bucks right now and you boycott this, you know what's happening? The conversation is being continued. And if you go on Twitter right now, man, you go on Facebook, guess what you're going to see? You're going to see a lot of people supporting it, and you're probably going to see more people saying, what does this accomplish? What does this accomplish? They're idiots. What are they doing? They're ruining the game of basketball. We had COVID-19, now you're taking the game of basketball away, and name your derogatory term right now. That's being thrown out there on social media. You know what that's doing, though? When you want to go online, when you want to go on Twitter, and you want to talk smack to somebody and you want to talk smack about them boycotting, you know what you're doing? You're continuing the conversation. Now, you may not be on the right team, but you're continuing the conversation. This is all people have to go off of right now, Brent, right? This is all people have to go off of to make a change is the conversation. So I think right now from the Milwaukee Bucks perspective, the hope is that enough powerful people see this because they know what's up. They understand right now a bunch of basketball players probably can't make the difference. A bunch of basketball players can't change the law. A bunch of basketball players can't go out there and say, all right, well, we decided to stop racial injustice, so let's do that. They don't have that kind of power. But what they do have the power to do is continue the conversation and see those people in power, see them back. And that's what's happening right now, I think, in the NBA bubble.
Is it the right approach for the NBA players to boycott? And here's the question for me. And it's an unbelievable step, by the way, an historic step once again. Keep in mind the dynamic here. There is a lot going on in 2020. There's a pandemic. There's a movement. Social injustice front and center. Sports athletes, sports entities have made that a priority. We just talked a lot yesterday about Roger Goodell in the NFL. But sports also couldn't wait to get back on the court, the field, the diamond, anything. And now you're taking sports away from that arena for how long? Potentially there's some word that people could leave the bubble. Get out of the bubble and make this more of the conversation. So I guess, is it the right method? Because if they're not, they're meaning basketball players and NBA teams and the NBA in general, not hosting the playoffs, not in the bubble. Do we hear from Doc Rivers? Do we hear from George Hill? Do we hear from Fred VanVleet? We'll always hear from LeBron James and players. But do we hear the powerful words and messages that have been said over the last few weeks, last couple of months? Is that too narrow-sighted to think that way because there's a bigger picture thing?
Yeah.
And I understand this is front and center for so many of the players. LeBron James just tweeted, by the way, with a derogatory word in there as well. There have been several players, superstar players. I think Donovan Mitchell has been one. All caps kind of tweets in the last couple of minutes. And LeBron James said it the other day, and he's the most powerful player in the league. I don't know if you think he's the best player in the league anymore, but he's the most powerful player in the league. And he said the other day, half my brain is thinking about winning these playoffs. Half of it's on everything else going on in the world and what we need to do to spark change. He has put his mouth and his money where his thoughts are as they continue to develop. I think his latest donation has been for voting protocols in certain areas of the country. So is it the right method to accomplish change?
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Listen, do I want to see the Milwaukee Bucks win a championship? You better believe it, Brent. I've been waiting my entire childhood to see them hoist that NBA Finals trophy. But I'll be honest right now. If the Milwaukee Bucks don't play another game this season, so be it. I would rather have them as men, as a team made up of, a majority of minorities. I would rather have them try to help their city out than be stuck in a bubble and play a game. Okay, it's still a game, and I get it. That game can be special, and that game can be used to evoke change, to take people's minds off what's happening right now. That game is special. Don't get it twisted. It's not what I'm saying at all. But at the same time, you have a bunch of people right now who are upset, who are exhausted. Okay, I mean, you heard it from Doc Rivers last night. He's exhausted. I'm exhausted. I think a lot of people right now are exhausted of the same narrative. I think a lot of people are tired of putting their energy and effort to fight for the cause and to keep seeing the same things happen over and over again. I think we saw it with LeBron James' last tweet here. I mean, the frustration is evident right now with LeBron James, and obviously he's a big, he's one of the big guys in terms of being that leadership for racial injustice. So guys are super frustrated right now, and they're locked in a bubble where they can't really, get out in the real world, let's just call it, and I say that in quotes because that's where they belong right now. That's where they want to be. So once again, I mean, I'm sorry that if you're not going to see your team maybe win a championship because of this, I'm sorry because you're a fan of the NBA and now maybe, who knows what's going to happen after this. I'm sorry. But there's bigger things right now than putting a basketball in a hoop. It just is, and it's simple as that. So regardless of what comes from this now, regardless if this is just a one-game thing, if it's going to go on for the weekend, if it's going to go on through the entire final, I really don't care. Because right now, I want people to focus on what's happening in this country.
Yeah, okay, but I think I understand all that. I think I think it's extremely powerful. I think it's courageous from the players to do that. I mean, they play a sport for a living, a game for a living, if you will. They are being thrown into this arena and throwing themselves into this arena and trying to spark change. I get all that. My question is it the right method to spark change? If everybody leaves the bubble, and by the way, what do you say, Coos? OKC and Houston planning the same?
Yeah, they just decided they're not going to play.
They're boycotting the game today as well. So I don't know where this goes.
Yeah.
But this might be a attention getter today, which also could be very meaningful and powerful for the folks in Milwaukee and other places. But I guess the question I have, and I'm not disagreeing, I'm asking this question.
You're raising the question, as you should right now.
I'm raising the question of if NBA teams leave the bubble, and the season now is over. And they go back to hometowns and cities, and the players and management and everybody joins hands and continues to do work with peaceful protesting, with voting, encouragement, with other things in their community, which is fantastic, work in their community. Does anybody notice? But if they continue to play and continue every post game and with a microphone in front of them to talk about it and use that platform, and highlights and comments are said on social media and said on ESPN and TNT, and Charles Barkley's talking about it, and everybody else is talking about it, is that a better avenue? Or is it already an avenue that's been visited and not working in the eyes of the players?
I don't want this to come across the wrong way, and I don't want my words to be miscontrived, so I'm going to say it as eloquently and as articulate as possible. There is good that comes from when you get in front of a microphone and you speak your piece. There is good that comes from when you're wearing T-shirts and hats and things like that. That's obviously support the narrative that this country has a problem with racial injustice. That's great and everything, and I do support that absolutely. But to me right now, this decision, whether it's going to be carried out for the rest of the season or not, this is bigger than that. This is bigger than even Colin Kaepernick, to me, taking a knee during the national anthem, because we saw how that shaped out, and we saw the response to that. That was the trending topic for the entire football season. And whether you agree with Colin Kaepernick or not, guess what? You were talking about it. And
By
that's
the way, 4 years ago today, Colin Kaepernick.
Wow. How's that for a little history right there? So when you're talking about Colin Kaepernick and what transpired after that, regardless if you agreed with it or not, you were talking about it. And what were you talking about? Why he was doing it in the first place. Now, whether you agreed or not, I really don't care. But the conversation was started. If the NBA was to pack up and leave, or if it was to be postponed for whatever comes from this, to me, this is essentially the same thing as Kaepernick taking a knee, but maybe even more aggressive. Because you know what? Right now, the Milwaukee Bucks, number one trending topic everywhere. Okay? And I think the NBA is going to follow suit pretty soon with other teams. We'll see. And once again, whether you're for this or against this, all right? Whether the news source of your choosing, I don't care. They will be talking about this. And that's the point. Whether you agree with it or not, I don't care, because at the end of the day, you're talking about it. And if we're talking about it, you care in the conversation. When it comes down to it, Brent, you're going to ask the question, well, why did the Milwaukee Bucks choose to do this?
Yeah.
Why did they do this? We know why they did it. We know what happened in Kenosha. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a good point. This is a drastic measure. And with drastic measures, you kind of hope that drastic change is made.
Yeah.
Drastic change is not made overnight.
Correct.
Certainly it's been a lot of nights on this front. So I just I don't know the answer to my own question, quite frankly. Is it the right thing to do? And now does it force the NBA to boycott the rest of the way? Do you boycott for one night or day to get people's attention and talking about it and saying, we don't care about basketball? Again, admirable, courageous. I think it's unbelievable for athletes to be leading the way. Again, that's not what we've asked our athletes to do over time. We have had athletes lead the way over time, from Muhammad Ali to others. But they are taking it upon themselves to lead the way. But now that you've led the way and you're boycotting as teams and maybe an organization with the NBA and a league, what if they play this weekend or next week? Does it make that loud noise, that attention getter, go mute? Does it still carry weight, or do you think in this instance now they have to sit out? They have to sit out until they start seeing change. And so boycott until you start seeing change. Again, change doesn't happen overnight, but maybe there's something that someone in Milwaukee, for this instance, does, from a police chief to a governor to a mayor to that says, now that's change. Now I see you're going to start change. Do we have to see? Do the NBA players and the organizations have to see something before they get back on the court to satisfy this move, if you will?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that's the case, just because I always feel like regardless if it takes a day or it takes a month, I mean, this is for the better, I feel like. All right, now people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. But this is for the betterment of our society where we're at right now. And once again, Brent, I just think, and whether people agree with me or not here, I really don't care. I just think right now, these athletes, Brent, they're exhausted, okay? I'm not talking about exhausted from playing an NBA playoff series because that's exhausting in itself. These guys are away from their families right now. All you have to go off of is FaceTime. And I think people are just exhausted from the point of, what more do we got to do to see something change, okay? Like, we're putting our time, our energy, our words, what we wear, our messages, we're putting it all out there in the universe, and we hope that it gets reciprocated. And unfortunately, we see these things pop up time and time again. And I'll reiterate my point. Everyone's saying right now, well, you got to vote in November, vote. Cool, man. There's still people right now that are afraid of probably even going to work because they could get pulled over and they get shot. Like, those people exist out there right now. Those people exist out there where when they drive past a cop, they're scared, okay? Because the color of their skin, they're scared. That's not going to change in November. Like, what are you going to do for those people right now? So to me, this is kind of like, this is a Hail Mary. This is a last resort, if you will, from a bunch of professional athletes who are tired, exhausted, and don't know what to do with their platforms. Like, yeah, they're making a difference, but they're not seeing the change. This is that Hail Mary right here.
Yeah, and we'll see if it works and sparks change and how deep it goes. I mean, are they ready to walk out the NBA for the rest of the season, out of the bubble down in Orlando? We will see. We don't know. What we know is the Milwaukee Bucks and Orlando Magic game won't be played because of the boycott. And we also know Houston and Oklahoma City is planning the same.
Yeah, the Woj just tweeted the Lakers are having a team meeting right now about it.
Well, I would suspect and we would think that the Lakers, if you're going to do this, by the way, LeBron James' team almost has to do it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this is a form of unity across the NBA.
And now word out of with Milwaukee Brewers saying that there might be they might be sitting out this game against the Reds as well.
Exactly what I was going to get to next.
Yeah.
Totally different story. But in the pandemic, when this started, the NBA was the one that stopped sports. Is the NBA now going to stop sports again through boycotting? Will MLB follow suit? Could we see the NFL follow suit? Detroit Lions did not practice yesterday, used their voice instead during their practice time to protest peacefully. What will the other leagues do following the NBA? How long will this go on? Are sports stopped again, potentially, in some form in some of these leagues? We get more to it. We get back to the Jags as well coming up at 5. We do have a guest. We're going to talk a little bit about the AFC South, and we'll have a little fun to end the show as well. Some heavy stuff, though, here on ESPN 690 on a Wednesday as Milwaukee Bucks are boycotting Game 5 of the NBA playoffs. Oklahoma City, Houston doing the same, and the Lakers most likely will follow suit.
After a long day, having my dogs greet me at the door with their silly smiles and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vets Animal Hospital to keep my pets healthy. Forever Vets was voted 2019's Best Vet in Jacksonville Magazine's Readers Poll, and it's easy to see why. The affordable wellness plans are tailored to meet all of your pet's changing needs as they grow. Open 7 days a week, Forever Vets friendly staff is available to treat you and your pet with care. They combine extended hours with online booking to allow you to give your pet quality care while accommodating your schedule. Go online to forevervets.com to find which of their 9 locations is nearest you. And don't forget their newest location in Bartram Market. Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets happy and healthy forever.
I never knew my home would become my workplace. I never dreamed it would be my child's school. And I never imagined my home would be under attack from an invisible enemy called COVID-19. This is why I trust SafeTouch Security. It's one app that puts me in control. My SafeTouch system allows me to control who's on my property, movement while the kids are at home learning their school lessons, who I speak with without even opening the front door, as well as home deliveries, my heating and air conditioning, door locks, and complete protection against the threats of fire, burglary, and assault. You know, you can even have control over your car. Know you are safe. with the most up-to-date security system from SafeTouch. SafeTouch Security has been doing what others can't for over 35 years. Reliable local monitoring. No other company comes close to SafeTouch's track record on guaranteed response times. Go to safetouch.com and find out how you can get zero down and free equipment with a lifetime warranty. That's safetouch.com. State license number EF0000233.
Let's take a minute and talk about your health, your good health. We can't take it for granted, and CGC Water would like to help. It's important to have clean, purified water in your home for your good health. CGC offers no contact sales and service appointments, and they've taken all the necessary precautions while in your home. Kinetico systems from CGC Water remove up to 99% of the contaminants. Now that's taking care of your health. This month, get 50% off a K5 reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. No more filling the landfills with plastic from expensive bottled water. Instead, fill up on cleaner, safer water from CGC Water. We love it at our house. You can have it at your house. Get the peace of mind knowing your family is drinking great tasting, purified, safe water. Kinetico features Premier Softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that are super efficient and use less salt. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer, servicing North Florida and Southeast Georgia.
Hi, I'm Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park. I don't know about you, but I just want to get in the car and drive somewhere. Windows down, radio playing, exploring some two-lane back roads. It's like a mini vacation. So I say, get in your new Chevy and go. Huh? You don't have a new Chevy? Well, we can fix that, like a new Equinox. Right now, the factory says take 15% off, but we can do up to 5 better. That's right, up to 20% off, or choose a discount and 0% for up to 84 months. Only at Gordon Chevy in Orange Park or GordonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles. It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com.
Fall is just around the corner. So are Labor Day savings now at the Home Depot, where you can save every day on everything, from mulch to power tools, new appliances to a fresh coat of paint. You can even shop and save right from the app and get convenient delivery right to your door. The only question is, what will you do next? Tackle more fall projects with Labor Day savings now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. U.S. only while supplies last, valid through September 7th.
It's a new season, and it's Sport Clips haircuts. All of our stylists are clean certified and guy smart. So come in and get yourself back in the game with our legendary MVP experience. It's a mancation with our hot steam towel, relaxing shampoo, and a winning cut. Check in online and walk out with confidence. Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy.
And you be stepping out like a pro.
You've worked hard all your life. Retirement worries shouldn't get in the way, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. But many Americans are finding that retiring on a fixed income is hard. BenefitsCheckup.org is a free website from the National Council on Aging. With just a few clicks, you can see if you qualify for thousands of dollars to pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. BenefitsCheckup.org. You've earned this. This message is supported by the Administration for Community Living.
Ready for a positive 2020 surprise? Here's one from Diamonds Direct. The return of our best offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing. Yes! Starting Monday the 31st, backed by popular demand. Pick any item. Get the amazing value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Pay nothing down and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. And you can even finance the sales tax. Fine jewelry has never been more affordable. 5 years, 0 interest on anything and everything starting September 1st. At Diamonds Direct. On approved credit. Get details, directions, and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Hey, let's jump right back into it. 5 o'clock hour, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Obviously, talking a lot about the NBA boycott happening right now in the playoffs. And this in from Major League Baseball, Josh Hader from the Brewers on the Bucks boycott. Quote, I think it's a tremendous stand. This is more about sports. This is more than about sports. Says can't say yes or no on a Brewers boycott. I'm sure it's something we are going to discuss. We'll see if Major League Baseball follows suit. Of course, they are playing. There are sports that are happening. The NFL is not happening, not just yet, other than practices. And the Detroit Lions did not practice, canceled it yesterday, and then had peaceful protests at their facility. Brent Martineau, former Jags player Austin Lane, and happy to be joined right now by ESPN NFL Nation reporter Mike Wells. Mike, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Before we even start, fellas, is this a station in Jacksonville that Mike DiRocco comes on?
No, we ban him.
Okay, that's a smart move that you guys do not let D-Rock on there. I love him to death. The only thing D-Rock has done for me is he told me to make sure I always eat down at Flying Iguanas down there.
Yeah.
When the Colts play the Jags. That is my go-to Mexican restaurant. Incredible guac and queso and margarita. So that is the only thing Mike DiRocco has done in my 7 years of friendship with him. He told me a great restaurant to go to down there.
D-Rock is awesome. We love him, even if he does sometimes go on the other station. But that's more than he's ever done for me. So you're ahead of me, Mike.
All right, hey, listen, you know what, D-Rock is good. He's good people, even though, I've taken him out to like 15 different restaurants in Indy, but I'm not keeping tabs on it or anything.
Hey, if you want some restaurants when you come down here, let us know. We'll give you some places to go. Although
I don't need restaurants anymore. I just need golf courses. You guys give me some golf courses down there in Jacksonville. We will be best friends.
You got the right guy. Then.
Yeah,
you got the right guy.
I can't help you with that.
I will help you out. Well,
taco trucks all day. I got you, dude. But golf courses, that's my partner, Brent Martineau.
Now, I'll be your bestest of friends if I can get you on that stadium course. I know that. But I know you know that golf course exists around here.
Oh, yes, I know too well. And listen, I tried to play there in Week 17 last year. You know, the game that nobody cared about.
Yeah.
The Jacoby Brissett Minshew game where both teams were already thinking about vacation when there was actually you could take a real vacation without a face mask, without a mask on.
Yeah, true.
And the price that I was told for that late December game was like $300, and my golf game does not equate to a $300 round.
It is a pricey acquisition to play over there. Beautiful place, but no doubt about it, it's pricey. Mike Wells with us from ESPN, NFL Nation reporter for Indianapolis Colts, all around the AFC South as well. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. Austin probably asked you here in a little bit when he played for the Jags from like 2010 to 13, and then with the Chiefs and the Bears. Did you say anything bad about him? But I'll let him handle that part. Let me go something real serious right now. You're seeing all the news about the Milwaukee Bucks and the NBA boycott. Is this something that you think we should be, and everybody will be, keeping an eye on when it comes to the NFL, whether it's the Indianapolis Colts, the Jaguars, or maybe something that could take place as we get closer and closer to the season, which, by the way, is like 15 days away?
Honestly, I think how obviously this is a huge day. All the NBA playoff games canceled tonight now. How the state of Wisconsin handles everything. I'm curious about the rest of the sports. I mean, what's Major League Baseball going to do? I think the Brewers are playing the Reds tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
I'm actually heading over to Chicago later on this evening to go to cover the BMW over at Olympia Fields. The golfers are going to take part in things this weekend. It's just going to be the start of a domino effect of everything that's going on in the sports world because, I mean, you talk about 2020 has been one beeping year. I mean, starting with the Kobe Bryant's unfortunate death. We're still dealing with COVID, going into the final fourth of the year of 2020. So it's just one thing after another, along with, a big election year. There's so many things going on.
Absolutely. Mike Wells with us. So let's talk a little football, man. I always like to do this. We'll talk about the Colts. By the way, I might have the Indianapolis Colts in the Super Bowl, so we'll get to that, and you can tell me if I'm crazy.
You sipping Philip Rivers Kool-Aid, man.
Yeah, and you also have him getting beat week 1 in Jacksonville.
I do. That can happen, man.
So how does that work?
And which, by the way, the last time the Colts won in Jacksonville, they were actually AFC, not just AFC South dominant foes. They were one of the best teams in the AFC getting to the AFC Championship game, and I was probably about 25 pounds lighter the last time the Colts won in Jacksonville.
They have had, I tell you what's the one team the Jaguars have matched up with pretty well, and that's not a long list, by the way, here in Jacksonville. Mike, what is your take on the Jaguars? How the national narrative is they're awful. They're probably going to end up with the number 1 pick. They're tanking for Trevor. What is your take on the Jags, how they fit as they kind of reload their roster, and, of course, on Gardner Minshew?
Well, quite honestly, you guys just summed it up perfectly. But when people ask me talk about the AFC South, I say, all right, are the Tennessee Titans going to be Milli Vanilli, Vanilla Ice, one-hit wonders with Ryan Tannehill? How is the DeAndre Hopkins trade to Arizona going to impact Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans? I think the Colts on paper are the best team. And then I say I don't even want to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars because you talk about one-hit wonders right there in Jacksonville after getting to the AFC Championship game and having an opportunity to beat the New England Patriots at Gillette Stadium back in 2017.
No doubt about it. Now let me ask you about your team that you cover, not your team, but the team you cover. And should I be drinking the Philip Rivers Kool-Aid?
You know what? Yeah, I'm curious on Philip Rivers because, we know what his resume is, but you're talking about a guy who had 23 turnovers last season, 20 interceptions, third most in the NFL. Was that just a fluke, or is Father Time catching up with him at 38 years old? What I will say about Rivers is that he's playing behind the best offensive line he's ever played in his career. I believe the Colts are one of the top 2 or 3 O-lines in the NFL. They had the number 7 rushing offense last season, and then they go out and draft, Jonathan Taylor, who had back-to-back 2,000-yard seasons at Wisconsin. And now the pressure is not on Philip Rivers in that right arm. He simply has to trust his O-line and have faith in what is a very deep running back group that he has out there. So they have the pieces. And it's funny, people always say, what do we know about Rivers' difference from Jacoby Brissett? Philip Rivers in training camp so far, he knows where he wants to go with the ball. He gets rid of it very quickly. And you talk about a guy who didn't have any on the field work during the spring. He's out there clicking. He's out there zipping the ball around. And of course, people are going to say, well, Rivers and Jacoby, are averaging the same yards per attempt. Well, I'll tell you now, Philip Rivers is doing it by design. They want to run a lot of crossing routes. Jacoby Brissett stood in the pocket and just and patted the ball until there was nothing there and he did a check down. So that's the difference between the two. Rivers is a vet, and I think he's smart enough to know that he can trust the pieces around him.
Mike, and you mentioned it with Philip Rivers, man. I mean, obviously last year it was a disappointing season to say the least. He had a lot of firepower on that offense, but didn't have the offensive line to back him up. Now he goes to Indianapolis, which I agree with you, one of the best O-lines in the game. I mean, anytime that I can name a starting guard for an NFL team, their offensive line's pretty good. Should I talk about Quentin Nelson, obviously. But when we talk about Philip Rivers, he's always been the Jaguars killer, whether it was when I played against him when we traveled to San Diego or until now from last season. I mean, he is the Jaguars killer. He plays the Jaguars like they owe him money. My question to you, though, is what is this offense going to look like? Because I look at the roster right now, and obviously you still have T.Y. Hilton. You have a great offensive line, but you guys have such a great running game. You mentioned Marlon Mack and now the emergence of Jonathan Taylor as well. Are we going to see a more run-first, pass-second Indianapolis Colts, or is this kind of Philip Rivers' show and the run's going to be secondary?
The opponent is going to dictate things. How the Colts are able, if they're able to run the ball 50 times and, run for 250, 300 yards, and Philip Rivers throws for 125, they're totally fine. And that all has to do with Frank Reich. Frank Reich is not one of those, we have to be a pass-first team. He believes in having multiple running backs and then, having tight ends he can turn to and then using the speed at the wide receiver spot. Reich's going to go with whatever is working. That's his belief. He's not going to sit here and say, just because we have Philip Rivers out there, a guy who has thrown countless touchdowns and countless yards, and we have to throw the football. No. The Colts have shown, they did it with Andrew Luck 2 years ago. They said, all right, if we can run the ball, we're going to go ahead and put it on the ground and just do it that way and let the opponent dictate how they do things.
You mentioned the wide receivers, and, T.Y. Hilton's still there. They pick up a guy by the name of Michael Pittman in the draft. And Michael Pittman was a guy, to me, who was probably my 4th or 5th rated highest receiver of that entire draft. I loved his size. I loved his pedigree. And I love just the kind of intensity that he brings to the game of football at that wide receiver position. What have you seen from Michael Pittman so far? And can he be that, we always say the rookie, it's hard to go from college to the pros as a rookie receiver. Can he make that next transition and be a star right away for the Indianapolis Colts?
Listen, Michael Pittman had, 101 receptions, over 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns last year at USC. What the Colts like about him is that he has size and speed, because you look at the Colts receivers, they have speed in Paris Campbell and T.Y. Hilton, but they're short guys. Michael Pittman at 6'4" has the size and the strength to be able to go up and get balls. You have to have a red zone target. We know once you get inside the 20, you got to have a guy where you throw up a jump ball, he's going to go up and fight and get it, and that's going to be Michael Pittman. He's going to have an opportunity to step into that role. My question mark, not only with Pittman and all rookies, but any guy who changed teams in the offseason. How much will no offseason workouts impact you early on? How much, is it going to take you some time to get caught up to speed and no preseason games? That's really the X factor, in my opinion, with every football team not named Kansas City or a team like Seattle, where, teams that are set at the quarterback spot and didn't have much of a roster overhaul. I think they're going to have the advantage over other teams in the NFL. A team like the Colts, they have all their pieces back, but you got a new starting quarterback, and you guys know firsthand down there in Jacksonville, you ain't got no damn quarterback. You ain't got no chance. And you guys haven't had a quarterback since Mark Brunell. So you guys know how that works. And I know Jaguar fans are going to start tweeting me and everything. I love you guys down there. I do wonder how many people, go to the bathroom in that pool at the stadium, because the water's always clear at kickoff, but then all of a sudden it's muddy looking by the fourth quarter.
Mike Wells.
That's just the way the sun hits it, man. That's it.
It's good. I did the first ever cannonball in there. It was clean that day. Mike Wells from ESPN NFL Nation covers the Indianapolis Colts. It is amazing if you think about it. Think about what the Colts have had.
Oh, yeah.
Potentially 3 Hall of Famers. I mean, Andrew Luck, shortened career now. He retired, but now Phillip Rivers and obviously Peyton Manning. In that stretch, the Jags can't seem to find.
You talk about spoiled, man. I'm not saying spoiled brats, but the Indianapolis Colts have been very spoiled since 1998.
Absolutely.
Like you said, Peyton Manning, who led them to a Super Bowl, countless playoff appearances, numerous MVPs. Andrew Luck comes in, gets to the playoffs his first 3 years, comes back with, most improved player in 2018. Now you get Phillip Rivers. Man, a lot of teams in the NFL should be envious of what's happening in Indianapolis with the Colts.
They should, and you could also make the case for some disappointment there. They don't have more rings.
Oh yeah. I agree with you guys 100% on that one. Definitely, they probably should have more than one ring.
Hey, let me ask you this: if I'm not right about Phillip Rivers, and if it is the end of his career and he's just turned into not that great of a quarterback, he's just old, who then wins the AFC South in your opinion? Is Tennessee, built to do it again? Do you have confidence in that, or would you be more scared of a Deshaun Watson team, even though Houston kind of was a mess in the offseason?
I'm glad you guys didn't mention the Jaguars, but you know what?
I'm sometimes a realist.
Thank you. Listen, I'm gonna say this right now. I go on some radio stations, and I was teasing you about drinking the Colts Kool-Aid, but a lot of radio station hosts, they sip the Kool-Aid of their hometown team. And I just want to say, what the hell are you thinking on that one? So kudos on you. Listen, next time I get down there, flying iguanas on me. I'll pick up the tab. But no, you know what? I like Mike Vrabel as a head coach. I think Mike Vrabel's players, his team plays the same way he played. Blue collar, get after it, punch you in the mouth. They're going to make the game ugly, and they're going to find a way to win. I mean, you got Derrick Henry where you can pound the ball to out there in the running game. So I think if the Colts don't win the division, I will go with the Tennessee Titans. I just think, Bill O'Brien, a head coach, I'm impressed with. Bill O'Brien, the general manager, I think is horrific.
Yeah.
So, from a head coaching standpoint, you can't knock what he did. I felt like he was, we did on ESPN during the offseason, we did an all-decade team. And Bill O'Brien was the best coach this decade in the AFC South. But as far as from a general manager standpoint, I just think he's horrible. So I'm going to say if the Colts don't win the division, I'm going to go with the Titans.
Mike, I'm going to be honest, man. I'm an old school way of thinking when it comes to the philosophy of football. Brent, what I always say, how do you win the football game?
Run the ball, stop the run, be as boring as you can.
I say it ad nauseum, man. I say it ad nauseum. And when you stop the run, you got to stop the run against the Tennessee Titans. We'll see with the Houston Texans now with David Johnson. One would think they're going to run the ball a little more. When you look at the Colts defensive line, and usually the Colts defensive line, it's always middle of the road. It's always, it is what it is. But I see Justin Houston, who to me is still a high-caliber football player, one of my former teammates from Kansas City. And I see the acquisition of DeForest Buckner now, one of the best, I think, 3-technique / defensive linemen in the entire NFL. What is that defensive line going to look like this year? And will they be able to get up to the quarterback?
By the way, I agree with you. You got to win it. You got to stop the run. You got to win in the trenches. You played in the NFL, so I'm not going to disagree with you. Anybody who played in the NFL, I will take their word on everything they say. So props to you on that one, on getting to the league and everything. But you get DeForest Buckner right there in the middle of that defensive line. That means the quarterback's coming to the line wondering, all right, we got to see where Buckner's at. We have to see where Justin Houston's lined up. I mean, Buckner played in the middle, but he still had 19.5 sacks over the past 2 seasons. What I think is going to be a trickle-down effect. I think the Colts, led by Darius Leonard, the linebackers are going to have a field day with that defensive line in front of them. There's going to be so many opportunities for them to come into the hole and stop the run, or come in on a secondary rush to get to the quarterback. I think that's going to be the key. I do have question marks in the secondary. Malik Hooker did not get his fifth-year option picked up by the Colts. You got a second-year safety in Kari Willis. Xavier Rhodes is a new addition from Minnesota. What does he have left in the tank? So it'll make it easier in the secondary if the D-line is able to get pressure on the quarterback. I think there won't be as much pressure on the back end for those guys to have to worry about to stick to their guys for as long. So I think the front seven is very solid. Question marks in the secondary for the Colts.
Mike Wells from ESPN NFL Nation probably kept you longer than we were supposed to. I appreciate the time.
I like you guys. Hey, I like you guys. Normally when somebody's boring, I try to rush off. and get off the phone and play it off like I got something to do, like my dog's barking, my kids are bugging me, but you guys got great energy, and you're not homers, so that's huge with me, fellas.
I appreciate it. Thanks for coming here. Hey, you're a way better Mike than the other one here in town.
Listen, I mean, hey, that's easy. That's easy. Listen, I'm probably about 2 feet taller than Mike DeRocco too, and I love you, D-Rock. I love you, D-Rock, if you're listening, brother.
Hey, one other thing, but next time you come on and join us, we'll probably have a Flying Iguana sponsorship by then.
Absolutely, cut the check.
Listen, I don't need. We don't want Flying Iguana sponsorship. I need to get on a TPC Sawgrass. That's what I want. I'll buy my own queso and guac and margaritas. I'm not trying to buy a round of golf at TPC Sawgrass.
I love it. Speaking of safe travels to Chicago, and tell Tiger to putt better, please.
All right, fellas. You guys be good.
Have a good one. That's Mike Wells from ESPN's NFL Nation. And we'll catch up with Mike from time to time. Good stuff with him. Yeah. Tomorrow we're going to visit the Rams. A little Johnny Wolford talk, a little Jalen Ramsey talk, a little Hard Knocks talk. So we'll have some fun with that as we go around the NFL leading into the season, 18 days away. The big story here today, and we've been telling you about it, we've been talking about it over the last hour now, is the NBA has canceled all the games for today, led by the Milwaukee Bucks boycott. They did not come out on the floor at 4 o'clock when that game was supposed to begin against the Orlando Magic. The games will be rescheduled according to the NBA. The NBA has released a statement, and it says this. The NBA and National Basketball Players Association today announced that in light of the Milwaukee Bucks' decision to not take the floor today for Game 5 against the Orlando Magic, today's 3 games, Bucks versus Magic, Houston Rockets versus Oklahoma City Thunder, and Los Angeles Lakers versus Portland Trail Blazers, have been postponed. Game 5 of each series will be rescheduled. 2 significant things, in my opinion. I've seen many press releases in my day, and it's interesting that they highlight Milwaukee here. This was a Toronto Raptors idea along with the Boston Celtics idea. They're not playing today. It's interesting that somewhere along the way, whether it was NBA officials, Adam Silver, players, said, hey, Milwaukee, it's happening up in your backyard. You have got to be the front man on this. And you have got to say, and you've got the first game. Ironically, I mean, it worked out that way. You've got the first game of the day. And so I almost, to the point of that release and the way this happened, I wonder if Oklahoma City and Houston had been scheduled for 4 o'clock and Milwaukee was the 7 o'clock game. I think we might have seen the first game, and Milwaukee might have been the boycott game that kind of led the change. So I think that was interesting on the release. The other part of the release that's interesting, although there are reports now out of the bubble for folks that are there, that one, the players are not talking to the media, and two, so they're letting actions speak louder than words, and two, they are meeting together, all the players in the bubble, to decide what next to do. But according to this press release, at least from the NBA, and they do this in part with the NBA Players Association, say Game 5 of each series will be rescheduled. So that indicates to me this was an attention-getting moment and using their platform, but games will go on. At least that's the plan right now. Things could change. Conversations over the next few hours, over the next couple of days, we'll see. But this was obviously a powerful statement and might be a one-off thing. Maybe it's a couple-day thing, but it looks like play will resume at some time, at least based off what the statement says.
And we'll keep an eye on, too, on the Major League Baseball as well, right? Because, like you said, Josh Hader said, they're still in talks of what they're going to do and things like that. So keep an eye on Major League Baseball today and tonight to see if they kind of follow suit, and we'll go from there.
So that's the latest on the NBA. And it is a little bit of now what? We continued our discussion in the commercial break. And it's before we go to commercial break, let's hang here for another minute because I want to ask this and kind of say what we said. It's a powerful move. It's once again an historic year, but it's another historic move. I mean, again, we're living through times where, there have been boycotts in sports from Russia in the Olympics to the United States in the Olympics to, those are powerful moments in sports. Those are things that exist. There are probably other ones too, and we could get a whole list of them, but those are memorable things. The word boycott is a big word. And so you do ask, what you said earlier was a great way to explain it. Say they boycotted. Why? Right? That's why. What's the next question? Why? And so therefore then you go to all the reasons why. Social injustice, this latest shooting, Jacob Blake, and police brutality. Or you can then go down. Then that sparks the conversation.
Of course.
What I asked and what I'm wrestling with here, just to be honest with you, and what we are kind of wondering too, what does change look like in this situation? It's a really difficult thing to answer. Maybe it's more difficult for a white 43-year-old man that has not had to deal with this, and I don't know if that's different. It might not, but what does it look like? Does it look like some action taken in the next couple of days by someone in Milwaukee, again, in their police department, in their political system? Does it? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know what change looks like that is satisfying, at least in the moment, because we do know this is crystal clear. Change is going to take time. This is, what's the word we've been using? It's systemic. Well, systemic problems take a long time to change. And obviously these discussions over the last few months and these kind of moments like this are trying to spark that change, but the change doesn't happen by tomorrow at noon is my point. So I guess it's a hard thing to illustrate and also and wonder, what does change look like for, in this case, NBA players to say, okay, something is happening.
And listen, and that's what you want to see, right? We deal in certainties all the time. We deal in 100%, and unfortunately, I don't have the answer. I don't have an answer to say, well, let's be realistic here, Brent. Tomorrow, Black people or minorities aren't going to go outside and be like, all right, well, I feel better now. I can go outside. I'm not going to be nervous about
the Milwaukee Bucks boycotted. I feel better.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, man. All right, that's just not the way this world works. So I'll be honest, man. I don't have an answer, and I don't know, obviously, what the progress from this is going to look like. I don't know how long it's going to take. But I just think that, once again, if we truly want to see change, yes, and it starts from the bottom. It starts with NBA players. It starts with all of us as a society. But it works up to the people in power. And once again, I'm not talking about, the president of the United States. I'm talking about elected officials who are supposed to work for the people, okay? People put those people in office for a reason, because they trust you. You elect those people, okay? So to me, that's who I hope this boycott talks to. Now, whether you put something into print or whether you put an initiative behind it, we'll see with that. That, to me, is going to take some time. but I just want to keep the conversation going, because as long as you keep the conversation going, that's when you start to see some change with the higher up officials and things like that.
Hey, I'll tell you this, because actually the kids have been down the road a little bit and not home the last couple of nights, which, by the way, can be a beautiful thing at times. But they'll be back tonight, and I know I'm going to get this question tonight. This is the beauty of things like, I don't know, beauty is a bad word, a bad choice of words, but this is the power of things like this. And it has been, by the way, for the last few months. Black Lives Matter movement, whether we're talking about the pandemic, I think the election will be a prime conversation point for many, so much so that the kids will see it whether they want to or not.
Absolutely.
And so my point in this conversation is I will no doubt get the question from my kids, why did they boycott? Because that's a hard thing to understand, right?
Yeah,
why?
sure.
Even at 15 years old, they're like, okay, why? But why did they do that to do that? Why wouldn't you want to, kind of some of the same questions we were having.
Yeah.
So it sparks with the younger. Let's just say the beauty of it for me is, at least as a parent of 15-year-old kids, that does not have to deal with the things that the black community has had to deal with from a parental standpoint or a kid standpoint. I at least get the opportunity for education, and discussion. And I think a lot of us get that opportunity. Now, whether you want to take that opportunity or not is up to you. But I think that speaks to, when we talk about what change is, we're asking in the interim, like in the short term, what's changed? What's change look like? What's satisfying? When do you go back on the court? Do you never play again until you see something that really strikes you as change? What does that look like? Well, what change looks like down the road is looking at your kids, or educating your kids, or them living through this right now.
Correct.
And seeing it whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, and what it potentially looks like.
Well, and listen, and I have a 5-year-old who's going to come home from school, put on his Giannis Antetokounmpo jersey, and get in front of the TV and want to watch the game and wondering, hey, what's going on? Why isn't Giannis playing? Because he was excited for today. I mean, he's got his shoes and everything, and he can actually pronounce his last name probably better than I can. So props to him.
Definitely better than I can, because you can do it pretty well.
Yeah. So, he was obviously excited for this day. Listen, Brett, and you asked me the question, and I want to go back to it a little bit, and you brought up a great point. Like, obviously, when we think about the change, we think about our kids, we think about the future and things like that. And to me, we also have to think about the now, right? Because the only way to change the future is to reflect on the now and think, what could we do better? And I think right now, and I want to bring it full circle to Paul George, right? Where Paul George said that he was in a dark place. Now, we can assume that that dark place stemmed from what he saw online after he had a bad game. I think that a change that NBA players want to see, obviously myself included. I think anybody out there who's on the side of good, I don't care if you're white, black, doesn't matter your skin color. I think the change that you possibly want to see right now that can be helped from this is that when you go online, you don't see so much hate and bigotry for the other side, okay? Because whether you're a professional basketball player and you had a bad game and people are ragging on you, or whether you're trying to fight for a cause that you believe in and the other side wants to lambaste you for it and say that you're wrong, that can take a toll on you. Okay, so if nothing even comes from this, I hope that at least it opens people's eyes a little bit to realize that, listen, maybe I shouldn't be as hardcore on the other side. Maybe I shouldn't go against people who want to see, racial injustice, be put away. Maybe I shouldn't be so anti, sticking up for your neighbors and sticking up for people of different skin colors. Maybe I shouldn't be like that. I think if you make a progress like that, that's some change that we could see.
All right.
But who knows?
It's the discussion continues and certainly elevates today with the Milwaukee Bucks and the NBA canceling games as they say they will be rescheduled. We will see what comes out of it. This story just beginning, not nearly ending. And how it impacts the rest of sports is something that we will follow as well. Speaking of the rest of sports, do have some other topics to get to. One on a very light note to end the show. Gardner Minshew comes out with that fantastic spot with Bud Light in fantasy football.
Yeah.
What else would you market Minshew with or for if you had the chance and you were his representation, his agent, marketing agent, maybe not even player agent?
Oh, yeah, marketing agent for sure. Let's increase that brand, Brett. I can't wait.
What else would you do? Also, a thought on Phil Mickelson winning the Champions Tour event in golf. Yeah, my man Mickelson got it done against the old guys. But it sparked a thought in my mind, and we'll share that along with any updates we have from the sports world next on ESPN 690. Thanks for hanging out with us here on a Wednesday.
Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly sunny, hot, and humid today with highs in the 90s. Feel-like temperatures well above 100. Hurricane Laura makes landfall tonight near the Texas-Louisiana border, but far away from our area, so no local impacts. It'll be mostly clear tonight in the mid-70s. Partly sunny with an isolated shower or storm tomorrow. Thursday's high 93. Friday, better chance for a few afternoon showers and storms, and in the low 90s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing.
Most of our homes have really taken a beating over the past few months. With the kids, the pets, and everyone else coming in and out, don't worry. Zero Res is ready to help. Zero Res is the only way to clean your carpet and tile. The right way. More than just another carpet cleaner. It's in the technology. Zero Res uses its patented powered water that cleans beautifully without using any soaps, detergents, or harmful chemicals. That means your home will stay cleaner longer because you don't have any of that crunchy residue left behind. See for yourself. Google Zero Res and read over 3,000 5-star reviews. Those Zero Res guys are cleaning freaks. Call now and get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. Remember to mention WOKV and get an additional room clean for free. That's right, the 4th room is on me. Call Zero Res at 904-287-5727. That's 904-287-5727. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Stop! Stop selling your real estate if you want to build your wealth. Our team here at Hometown Realty specializes in helping homeowners with the difficult decision of selling it or renting it. Your home might make a great investment property. We'll break down the numbers and go over the pros and cons to help you make an informed decision. Right now, rents are at an all-time high and mortgages are at an all-time low. So if you have a home valued between $200,000 to $1 million, we invite you to talk to our team today about our sell it or rent it strategy. From securing a new tenant to full background screenings, Hometown Realty offers the most comprehensive sales and management services in the industry. Contact us today for your free Keep It or Sell It market analysis by texting WEALTH to 41404 or at hometownjax.com. Again, that's WEALTH to 41404 or at hometownjax.com.
Ready for a positive 2020 surprise? Here's one from Diamonds Direct. The return of our best offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing. Yes! Starting Monday the 31st, backed by popular demand. Pick any item. Get the amazing value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Pay nothing down and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. And you can even finance the sales tax. Fine jewelry has never been more affordable. 5 years, 0 interest on anything and everything starting September 1st at Diamonds Direct. On approved credit. Get details, directions, and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
The summer shower of savings continue. Right now at Beards Diamonds, get 5 years, 0 interest, plus no money down on any purchase.
This is the best deal of the summer.
Take advantage of Beards' lowest prices in North Florida on diamonds.
How about a $6,000 Tacori or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month. Or a pair of diamond studs for $3,000? You pay just $50 a month.
Come in, see the difference. Save thousands.
Beards Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center.
Let's say you have ED, male impotence, or maybe you suffer from PE and can't satisfy your partner. If you have either or both of these embarrassing conditions, Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Rabinski, a specialist in men's health.
If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain and no surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center has patients lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. You'll see results on your first visit guaranteed, or your visit is free. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call 904-206-8105. We guarantee that you'll see results on your first visit, or there's no charge for your consult. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
It happens to all of us. That AC unit just starts making some noise, or even worse, it's not working anymore. This is the time of year you don't want that to happen. It's way too hot around here. My friends at Bold City Heating and Air will help. They helped us. It started with a call from my wife, and she said the AC wasn't working. So we jumped on boldcityac.com, and before we knew it, they were at the door. Super friendly customer service, clean, timely, and personal service call. And now we're loyal to Bold City Heating and Air. They took care of my family. They'll take care of your family. It's a big investment in AC unit, but a necessary one. Mirrors at Bold City Heating and Air has built a strong culture, and as a customer, you can feel it. We felt it. The easiest way to start the relationship with an AC company you can trust is to go to boldcityac.com. Have Bold City Heating and Air check out your AC. Right now, it's $25 off and annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it's working efficiently. Good peace of mind at the very least. Visit boldcityac.com. Be bold and beat the heat at boldcityac.com. Let's take a minute and talk about your health, your good health. We can't take it for granted, and CGC Water would like to help. It's important to have clean, purified water in your home for your good health. CGC offers no contact sales and service appointments, and they've taken all the necessary precautions while in your home. Kinetico systems from CGC Water remove up to 99% of the contaminants. Now that's taking care of your health. This month, get 50% off a K5 reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. No more filling the landfills with plastic from expensive bottled water. Instead, fill up on cleaner, safer water from CGC Water. We love it at our house. You can have it at your house. Get the peace of mind knowing your family is drinking great tasting, purified, safe water. Kinetico features Premier Softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that are super efficient and use less salt. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer, servicing North Florida and Southeast Georgia.
Hi, I'm Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park. I don't know about you, but I just want to get in the car and drive somewhere. Windows down, radio playing, exploring some two-lane back roads. It's like a mini vacation. So I say, get in your new Chevy and go. Huh? You don't have a new Chevy? Well, we can fix that, like a new Equinox. Right now, the factory says take 15% off, but we can do up to 5 better. That's right, up to 20% off, or choose a discount and 0% for up to 84 months. Only at Gordon Chevy in Orange Park or GordonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, but your boss has you working from home this week, well, take us with you. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Tell Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy all that sweet listening coverage.
Austin Lane.
The Rock, out of nowhere, buys the XFL during a pandemic, mind you, goes half in with his ex-wife. So now you're going to business with your ex-wife.
Brent Martineau.
I don't know if that's on the business advice list.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
I can tell you that as a person who was a generation, and in some cases maybe 2 generations older than most of the athletes who were doing it, it is amazing. And we grew up in different times. The athletes of my youth couldn't have done this. The world was a different place. They would never have been able to do what is happening now. But had they been able to, the world would be a different place today. And so what I would say is, because of what these young people are doing, the world will be a different and better place in the future.
That's Mike Greenberg. You can listen to him daily, noon to 2, right here on ESPN 690. Very well said. Although I don't know if I fully agree with him. I understand what he's saying. Just what I just said about my kids, right? When they ask what's going on, it's not going to be changed tomorrow or this weekend or next Thursday. But 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, we will see change from this. And they will get to live it. And so many other folks, more importantly, hopefully the black community, will get to live in that change. I don't know if I fully agree with Greenberg saying they couldn't have done it as players years earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, social media is different, so maybe the wave of it, maybe the difference between maybe even the systems that were in place in terms of the NFL, the power of the PA, the power of players' unions and associations now, the branding, the power of the athlete. Maybe that's what he's referring to, and might have a good point there. And maybe getting everybody collectively on board. I mean, you can always do it.
Well,
whether it works or not is different, but you can always do it.
That's the thing, though. The power of the players has always been there. It's been there forever. They're just starting to realize it right now. So, to go against it was Greenberg, right? A little bit. Yeah, so against Greenberg, I mean, if they wanted to do it, they definitely could have done it. And then it just would have escalated the situation where, wow, professional athletes have a lot of power. We would have been having that conversation a little earlier. Simple as that.
Well, as I sit here and talk about it a little bit, and I just heard what Greenberg said.
Yeah.
I will say this. The power of the player has not always been what it is now. The reason why the power of the player is so much more now is simply because of this, the money.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of it. And it's like I said this before. Let's just go simple, totally off topic. This is tangential in a sense, but it's relative.
Yeah.
And that is Jalen Ramsey was able to do what he did last year because he had already pocketed $27 million essentially in the bank.
Yeah.
What's the risk?
Mm-hmm.
You don't play and you got $27 million sitting in the bank?
Mm-hmm.
There's a heck of a lot more risk with what Yannick Ngakoue has done the last couple of years, where he's got $4 million in the bank. Well, if you go back to the yesteryear, the players weren't making this kind of money. Mm-hmm. So they didn't have that parachute if it didn't work, if you want to kick me out of the league. If I'm making $5 million a year doing this, which I'm just short of, but if I'm just making $5 million a year, and I've been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like something the station does,
mm-hmm.
and I want to go raise Cain about it.
Yeah.
I sure as heck am going to have a lot more confidence and bravado knowing that I just made $5 million for the last 15 years. Sure, I could lose my $5 million job, but I'm probably getting paid $5 million for a reason, and they need me maybe even more than I need them now that I got more money in the bank.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so that creates bravado. So the dollars are important in here in this dynamic as we talk about it a little bit. And so that's where Greenberg might even be more right. I don't know if the power, the player unions, all those kind of things that we just said, but I do think it comes down to money. You have to be willing to, first of all, have to be okay with what you've made and willing to risk the dollars. What's there to lose? Well, again, it's easier to risk what you've lost if you've already made a ton.
Correct.
And players these days have made a ton. NBA, much like these guys in the NBA, most of them, they get paid handsomely now. And not even the greatest players get paid handsomely. They could all not play for the next 2 or 3 years. Yeah. They could lose their time of playing, and they would still be living in mansions in L.A. and Miami and everywhere else.
Listen, to echo your point, obviously, yes, the money is the motive. It's probably the most important thing, but also, where does that money come from? It comes from the owners and it comes from those in charge, right? I think right now we're seeing a landscape of professional sports where at least the people that are put in charge are seeming to support athletes or give them what they want now more than ever, right? So that has something to do with it as well when the people in power also, for the most part, support the athletes as well.
Okay, 2 quick things before we get out of here. And obviously the NBA story is a huge story. We've been discussing it. I'm going to end on a little bit lighter note. Phil Mickelson won on the Champions Tour. Quick little 1-minute thing on golf. Okay. The Champions Tour you can go on when you're 50. Okay? Well, he just became the 20th first-time winner on the Champions Tour. Jim Furyk just did it. Jim Furyk turned 50, jumped on it. See, a lot of the guys don't want to do it because they're like, come on, that's lesser competition. I'm not going to go up there. I don't want to feel old. I want to feel young. I still got game. You know? I can play down there. Well, he just set all kind of records. Won easily. And it's like, I think he's got a chance. Tiger now's 5-6 years away from it. But 2 things. One, it shows you how good the guys on the PGA Tour are. There are some big names now on that senior tour, but Mickelson hasn't won. He's been near leaderboards, but he really hasn't won. And I can't remember the last time he won. It's probably somewhat recent, but you know what I mean. He hasn't been great. Nobody's considering him amongst the best anymore on the PGA Tour. Well, he walks into this thing and wins by 6 shots or whatever it was. There is such a difference between that league and that league. Is my point.
Sure.
It would be like Bryce Harper going to play for the Shrimp.
Going to the minors,
I mean, he'd probably rip it up. Right?
It's also a confidence booster, I'm sure.
But well, I'm okay with it. I also just think they could make the Champions Tour really cool. 15, 20 years ago, when I first got to Jacksonville, I covered an event at Hammock Beach. Arnold Palmer was in it. I don't know if Nicholas was playing in that event. I think he was around. But there were guys that would actually still play in those Champions Tours event, and they're some of the legends of the game.
Yeah.
But we have more stars in golf than ever before. That Champions Tour could be good, and you can make a good living out there.
Yeah.
I think Mickelson just won like $600,000 for winning it.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
In 3 days' work.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the beauty of golf. You can play as long as you want. I understand playing in that kind of tour. It kind of shows I'm old now. But that's all part of the psyche, man. As long as you're playing the game, you're having fun. That's what it's all about. So cool.
Yeah, it's interesting, though. It could get, I don't look at Champions Tour scoreboards. I did for the last 3 days.
Yep.
And I thought that they could really revolutionize or at least revitalize that tour. And we could also see Mickelson and Woods go at it for another 10, 15 years.
Sure.
Again, is Woods too big for that? Will he allow himself to do that? Will Tiger? It's so weird calling him Woods. Oh, call him Tiger. But that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
So just a thought or two on a little bit of golf there. Minshew, if you're your marketing.
You got any serious music real quick or not? Are we about to go off the air here?
No, you got to tell us something.
I know. Well, I got to tell you something. I need some music, though. We got serious music?
I can try to find you some, but
Okay, turn this music up real quick. Turn this music as a serious thing. Okay, check this out, Brent. Cut to an Eastern Carolina dorm room. AC/DC Thunderstruck playing in the background. Hard cut to a hammer on the table. Hard cut to Gardner Minshew sitting in a lazy boy, letting out a deep sigh. Hard cut to a portal opening up in his living room. Hard cut, Gardner Minshew currently from the Jacksonville Jaguars enters the living room. AC/DC Thunderstruck, record scratch, stops. Silence. Hard cut, current Minshew. Hey, man, put that hammer down. Trust me, you don't need to do it. Jump cut, college Minshew. How do you know? Jump cut, current Minshew. Trust me, man, it'll work out. Wink. Jump cut, college Minshew to what I'm supposed to do right now. Jump cut, current Minshew. You got a bottle of Jack Daniels, don't you? Let's see where that gets you. Jump cut, current Minshew winks at camera. For all the folks at home, hard cut Jack Daniels, drink Jack and see where it gets you. Done.
You put a whole commercial together.
Yep.
You put a whole spot together for him.
Drink Jack and see where it gets you. Minshew wink and scene.
I was thinking what would he endorse? Like jock straps or something.
My answer is Jack Daniels, Brent.
I think I found your answer.
Yeah.
We got to get out of here. Live Local Loud is coming up. No NBA games tonight. So check out the guys. Nicky Football and Jerry Daniels. Live Local Loud. They'll continue the conversation with the NBA and what's happening in the sports world here on a Wednesday. That's going to do it for us. First and 10 training camp tonight, 11:15 on CBS 47 and Fox 30. And we'll be back at it tomorrow here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. For Coos and Austin, I'm Brent Martindale. Thanks for hanging with us here on a Wednesday.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Welcome into the show.